post-game show is brought to you by... Christ, I can't find it. The hell with it.
Let's try our best to make it a simple in and out procedure.
This is live. I'm on live TV.
I would love to hear this.
That's one hell of an ego you've got.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Don't treat me like a moron. Try me.
Forget it. If it's like beer, we'll have some.
Once it hits your lips, it's so good.
I just want to tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you.
We're back. And we are back. Just the two of us. Got rid of that pesky woman. Yeah. Boy, was she a lot to handle.
My God. Ashley, one and done. No, we love Ashley. That was a fun episode. Really fun episode. I felt Ashley did a great job keeping up with us.
She was awesome. Absolutely.
Both in conversation and in beverage, really. That was a tough ask.
Yeah. She was doing better than I did. I'm still in the recovery, mode.
I was just going to say, you just come off surgery.
But I mean, it was like,
how many weeks after surgery was that we did that? 2? Not even.
I think it was the week after.
Yeah. Major operation too. Not a like, I'm pretty sure you weren't medically cleared to drink either. I'm pretty sure it was like, hey.
No, I mean, but it was I was past the prescription part of my
you weren't taking any controlled substances or anything
correct,
like that.
Correct.
That was legal.
Yeah.
I got you.
We only had controlled substances in a glass.
Right. That was the only substance with a government warning on it that night. And what do we have that I'm trying to remember? We did that was the one in Lindenhurst. Sand City, yes, which was great.
Yeah.
They had a nice sampling, but we're back in Nassau County again today.
Yep.
For our beverage of choice.
Yeah, so this is like a very popular local favorite. I don't know how far they reach because it's like I feel like a lot of people know Barrier.
Yeah. Not just Long Island people
Correct.
either. Yeah, I do think they distribute outside of like the New York area. Obviously, they're bigger here because, it's where their homies are. But yeah, I think if you go off of Long Island, like I know my brother-in-law and they're up in New York, upstate New York. They know Barrier.
Yeah.
So it is widely distributed. It's good beer.
It's
probably one of the first craft breweries on the island, I would think. Barrier's been around for a long time.
I was gonna say I don't know any other that I could recognize that would be like this from before Barrier that I would recognize personally that actually does their own brewing and everything like that. Because there's tap houses and stuff like that have more local type beers, but it's not like they're brewing it themselves type of thing.
Right. The only one I can think of was Blue Point out in Suffolk. Now, Blue Point's been around for a long time.
Blue Point's been a long time.
And they got huge, obviously. They were bought by Anheuser-Busch for a little while, and then I think sold back to somebody else recently. But yeah, other than Blue Point, Barrier is probably the one that comes to mind in terms of just longevity.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these other ones have popped up, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I love them all. But like 2018, 2019, there was like this big boom of craft breweries that popped up.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited. We haven't been back to... We were just saying before the show, the last time we'd even been to Barrier was when our friend's mom had passed away. So hopefully this is a more joyous occasion to enjoy a Barrier beverage.
Well, I mean, we could talk. We're going there after the show.
We are.
And
gentleman's night out. Well, Nikki's coming too.
Oh, yeah. Nikki's, and my neighbor's going to be coming too from down the block.
Excellent.
They're going to be joining us and everything. So very
nice.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I wore my White Lotus shirt tonight.
Absolutely. Brian went to his nature-loving shirt.
It's me. Fucking birds look like a jackass. It's fine. It's gonna be 1,000,000 degrees this week.
I was a little laxed on my outfit.
You went a little more casual. It's fine. Cornhole T-shirt.
Maybe I'll change before we leave.
It's okay.
It's a match.
Meanwhile, I'm dressed like I'm like in mourning for Brian Wilson, pretty much from the fucking Beach Boys. But whatever, it's fine. Listen, it's supposed to be like 100 degrees on Tuesday here. I felt like I needed to changed the wardrobe in advance of the heat. Plus, my Uber driver, as I told you on the way over here, didn't have the AC on.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, listen, and I was,
That's
I didn't
rough.
I don't-
It's like 80 degrees today.
It's right now. It says 83 degrees, mostly sunny, and that's warm in a car. In a car, it means
Yeah.
it's warmer,
Do
right?
you have the windows down?
He had it cracked. And his name was, I don't know,
Did he have the fan on?
if he did, I wouldn't have known. I was in the back seat sweating bullets, just praying Rudy could go fast enough to let a little bit of that breeze hit my face. Which is when I text you, I'm like, all right, buddy, his tire light is on. That's the other thing, too. The car was even moving that fucking fast because the tire light was on. So
That's great.
thank you. Somebody, I'm guessing this is from the streaming community.
Oh, Cella. Hi,
I
Cella.
really like the
That's
shirt.
Gers.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hello.
Super appreciative because it's really not that impressive of a shirt. Got it on Amazon.
fantastic.
Thank you. But yeah, so we are heading over to Barrier after the show.
Yes, to watch Brian's cousin, who was a former guest host back in the day.
OG drinking buddy guy.
Yeah.
Yep. Chris, he is the drummer for Cover City Soundtrack. They do they're a great pop punk cover band. And I'm not saying that just to kiss his ass because he's my family member, but if you legitimately go see them, they put on a fantastic show. You haven't seen them yet live, right?
I haven't seen them live.
They-
No, I never saw them live. I've seen the clips that you've posted and everything like that.
I know that's like your...
And I know Chris as a drummer because he's, I think he's jumped behind the drums every once in a while, just, in the past.
Yep. Fantastic drummer. They're all good musicians, but I think you love that genre of music.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to really like what you hear tonight. So
I'm sure I will.
They'll put
It's
on a
exciting.
great show. Very
I'm
good.
excited.
And a shout out to them, too, for giving us a little mention, too, on their Instagram. They got, several thousand followers here. They've become, not just, they're popular, man. They get hundreds and hundreds of people showing up at their shows. They've become sort of a big deal.
It's good for them.
So, yeah.
It's awesome.
Hey, listen, man, they got it down. They got the formula down. They know the songs that people want to hear. Last time they played at a place in Center Station in Rockville Center, and I had always told Chris, I'm like, please, just one time, play Scotty Doesn't Know for me. And they did.
Nice.
They did. It was fucking great, man. If any of you don't know, that's from Eurotrip. You got to see it.
We played it live.
We did. We did. That's one of my favorites.
Back in the day.
Yep.
And it was the last show that we ever played live was
Yeah.
that.
What was it in Rockville Center? The one in the basement or whatever.
The Vibe, I think
Vibe
it was at that
Lounge.
point. Is it still the Vibe there? I don't even know if it is.
I don't know. It was
Because it changed a couple of times.
It did.
We only played there when it was the Vibe, though.
Correct. Yeah, we were there 2 or 3 times, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, they liked having us. That was a
They
good
did
spot.
like us, because we brought in, a decent crowd of people and everything. So
And just being able to play in Rockville Center, which for those of you who are not aware, Rockville Center is a pretty large town, a popular town, has a big downtown spot in Long Island. So for us getting in there was a big deal.
yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. All right, we should have some beer though.
Yeah, so we're gonna start out. Roping it back around to Barrier Brewing Company is the choice for today, and we are gonna start out with their. This is their flagship beer.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
It is called Money, Barrier Money.
Money.
Let's see. It is. It's an IPA. Has a 6.8 ABV. And it's their description is it's a perfect example of East Coast meets West Coast IPA, dry hopped with Citra. Oh my God, Azaka? Am I saying that right? Centennial and Simcoe, citrus, dank, pine resin, the beer that put Barrier Brewing on the map.
Okay, you said a lot of adjectives there that I would think was describing a tree and not
I know
a
that's what I'm
fucking beer,
saying.
but
I'm like, what is?
let's give this a shot.
I'm like looking at these words, and they're all capital too. Like it's all like.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I heard
proper
some of
nouns.
those words in a fucking Jardians commercial recently. Does this lower my A1C by any chance? Jesus Christ. All right. I hate those commercials, by the way. That's
They all start with somebody singing.
oh God! Now everything, and then the old join in sing song and a big thing. It's like Jardian slower is something really well.
Yeah,
go fuck yourself.
Everything became a musical when they're talking about medical. I think they're trying to get the light side of having a terrible medical condition.
Yes, or the million side effects that come along with taking it. as everybody's singing.
If we sing it, then it's less impactful.
Right.
That's
They cause liver damage, bleeding asshole, blah, blah. Oh, my God. All right. Here we go. Oh, I didn't do that.
I was going to say you weren't there.
Did you do it?
I didn't do it
Go
yet.
do it for me. Do it for me. Very good.
That was good,
That was a
man.
good one.
That was
Okay.
good. And here comes the signature move of the day. I can't reach with my right.
I get it for him. Can you reach this way?
Wait.
Attaboy.
We're a little early with this, but it
that-
is my wife's signature move during our podcast, which is providing us with freshly baked scones.
Yes.
What do we have here? Orange cranberry.
Have we ever had this before?
I'm pretty sure you have.
We have. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. You have not eaten yet, so you eat
I
yours.
did. I stuffed a chicken sausage down my throat.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking, but
And had some plain pasta with cheese.
all right, this is a good head.
Damn right it is.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's very colorful. I like
It is. It's actually very pretty.
like an orangey.
Looking at it.
I may have gotten a little too much head.
There's no such thing. I mean,
Orange cranberry scones. Sounds
oh,
amazing.
yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, all right. If I had been a little bit
That's perfection right there.
Oh yeah, you poured great there. That's
What's happened?
Would you like to do one orange cranberry, one vanilla bean instead?
That's up to Brian. I've had them both. Yeah, they are delicious, Chella.
I'm okay with just this for now. But you know, we got here.
You can split one orange cranberry and then you can split a vanilla bean so you can get like a half of each.
I can't
Or
have
you want your own.
put
What
me
would
on the
you
spot
like?
here. I'm not at all.
What would you like?
I just want that one.
You
That's all I want.
Okay.
Is that okay?
You said that so earnestly too. That I just want that one.
Because I'm looking at it since it came down the stairs.
His lips quivering and just.
Well, now I want to see if you bite.
Now you're gonna watch me bite it. Well, go. We're on a 10-second delay, so you can go upstairs. I'll bite salaciously into the
I was gonna
camera.
say, give me a nice. Hold on, we're trying out the beer first.
Yes, we did pour the beer, and I'm very thirsty. Can I have that? Just so that way, when I have this, my mouth's not all dry and stuff, and then I'll.
Oh wait, you won't. It's not a dry dessert.
It's very moist.
Hang on. Too bad we don't like a porno music or something like that.
I know. I gotta cue that up.
Right there. Look at those cranberries right there.
It's delicious.
Amazing. It's really good.
I mean, you'd have to say it because I'm standing with you.
You do have to say it because she's
It's very good.
standing right there.
It's a little bit dense, but not too dense. It's got a lot of flavor to it. You get the lemon, but it's not like overly.
Lemon.
What is it though? Orangey?
Orange cranberry.
Well, whatever. Orange, lemony. It's the same shit.
Completely citrus, but completely.
You get the citrus.
Citrus. That's what I meant. Come on, you know I have like one brain cell. The fact that I even came close is delicious. That's the key word that you need to take away is that it's delicious.
Absolutely.
It's zesty. No, whatever. All right.
All right.
Good. Not going to have my beer.
Now on to the beer. So this is their signature IPA Money.
Okay.
Cheers.
Here we go. Cheers. It's good.
That is very good.
I think that pairs well
I
with the
feel
Scone.
like you know what's yeah, seriously. You know what's funny is that I feel like because we've talked about this in the past that I'm not like an IPA person. I never really was a fan of IPAs, but like drinking them on this show, I've definitely learned to like enjoy their taste a little bit more.
Yeah, you wouldn't have them in volume. You'd have it's the kind of beer that you might have like 2 or 3 of. Mm-hmm. More, it's almost like having wine, right? Like if you're gonna have wine, you're not gonna sit there and pound
Yeah,
2 bottles. Well, most people.
I mean,
won't.
you might, but
You might. But if you have like a sophisticated palate, it's one of those like, oh, like I can sip this for a little while or
Yeah.
kind of nurse this beer, and it's enjoyable.
it's very good though.
Yeah, none of the IPAs we've tried from any of the local breweries, I think, have been
I do like the color too. It's very, very like
right.
it's like a soft glow to it. It's very, very nice.
Yeah. It's only got how much alcohol is in this bad boy?
6.8.
It's not bad. It's on the probably middle side of an IPA, right? I mean, that's
Yeah, they're usually up into like the 7s, right? They can be.
That's good. Go Barrier. This is good stuff.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, it's. I mean, it is one of the local favorites. It's been around for a while, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, Barrier's very popular. Like, it's weird too, because like I know Oceanside, both of the breweries in Oceanside, Barrier and South Shore, where we normally go for like cornhole and stuff. It's not. It's the only disadvantage to them is that they are not necessarily in a downtown area, which is kind of common of all breweries. They're sort of in like these
they're
more
off,
industrial areas and stuff.
Yeah. Although we did Lunchbox, they were right smack in the middle of Belmore.
That is definitely a good spot for them. I've never seen a brewery, maybe other than Blue Point, which is on the outskirts of like downtown Patchogue, but never seen a brewery right in the dead smack middle of like the downtown area, which is awesome.
Because I guess during the day they kind of advertise as like their restaurant side of it, which isn't really a restaurant. They have the food truck outside, but they serve food basically all day. They serve lunch and then dinner from the food truck and stuff. So
and
it's like,
isn't it rotating food trucks at
Yeah.
Lunchbox?
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. Yeah, whereas I think South Shore will periodically host events with different food trucks, but it's primarily Smokey Joe's. That's their food truck guy? Okay. Yeah. And
then does Barrier do any kind of, like, I haven't been there. Like I said, we haven't been there in, it's like 7 years now or something like that.
I don't know. We're going to have to find out because after we get slamming home 4 of these Barrier brews, like, we're going to have the munchies. So I'm hoping there's a food truck.
You want a cold chicken sausage?
On the way out in my Uber?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry, sir. I don't mean to rub my greasy hands on the back of your...
Maybe we'll be the same guy, so it'll be a nice warm ride with the chicken sausage.
Right, I can just put it on the seat to heat it up. Nope, don't worry. You don't have the AC on still, pal? Okay, great. I'm going to heat up my chicken sausage on your lap. Still can't get over that. No AC.
That was crazy. That's crazy.
Listen, man, I know I sweat, but you gotta have the AC on a day
like today. I mean, even with the air conditioner on, you might be sweating. Like it's
right.
It's hot.
It was definitely air conditioner weather, especially in an Uber where like you don't know who's getting in the car.
It's very strange. For like, I don't know.
Listen, I've seen it in the spring where it's like comfortable out. It's like in the 60s and 70s, right? But
because I just feel like as an Uber driver, you're there. You're providing a service for a customer, and you would want your customers to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Like you go in assuming like you want at least climate neutral.
Yeah.
So you figure the car should be like 70, 72, something like that.
Room temperature.
Right. Or you don't have to blast the AC, but the car should be like comfortable whether you're a cold person or a warm person.
You shouldn't be matching the outdoor weather if it's in the 80s.
Right. If we are on the brink of a heat wave, you roll up the goddamn windows. You put the AC on low, even for just a few hours.
Maybe this AC was broken.
Along with the tire, yeah, I know. It's no tire pressure, no AC. I was basically sitting in a ticking time bomb on the way over.
I just got my the RAV4. I had to get it state inspected, but I knew that the exhaust needed to get fixed or whatever. Ooh, and it kind of sucked. But it was like I didn't realize how bad it was. The car was always like loud, like starting up, and like I was like, sounds like a friggin' F-150 like out there trying to like you could hear it from like a couple of blocks away.
You did. I remember when you picked me up the day that we did the Lunchbox show, and the whole time going back to the house, I don't want to say anything. It's not my car, but I'm like, God damn, this car is loud.
It's loud. So I got it fixed and everything like that. And I said, by the way, what was wrong with the exhaust? He goes, you had a huge hole in your muffler. I'm like, oh, that'll do it.
That'll cause a tiny, like a little pinhole causes a amount of noise. So can you imagine all the other cars on the road for the last 7 to 8 months, whatever it's been? Like, Jesus Christ, buddy.
Yeah, but people do that. They do that on purpose. So I might have just been one of those jerks who...
Yeah, but it's a RAV4. It's not one of those Fast and the Furious cars, man. You're not Paul Walker back there. You know what I mean? It ain't...
I wanted to be really cool and fit in with that crowd.
Roll up. Yeah. We going for papers?
Yeah.
Sure, buddy. Yeah.
I got my 4-cylinder.
0 to 60 in what day is it?
How far are we going? Because I don't know. My car only lasts a couple of blocks.
That's I haven't really pushed too much pressure on the gas pedal. I usually ease into it. Usually start up and stay in first or second gear for the first, mile and a half or so before I really.
Exactly. Almost hit 40 the other day. It was crazy.
Could you imagine how loud that thing must sound at 40? I mean, you must know.
I noticed how loud it was. I actually rolled down the window a couple of times because I was like, am I that loud out and about? Because it's loud in here.
Yeah, and well, you're also more self-conscious about it because it is your car.
Well, I'm saying you're also like, you're sitting right on top of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's reverberating through the car. So to me, it's probably sounds a lot louder, but I mean, it was pretty loud.
It was. It was. I didn't want to say anything, but I did. I was like, should I say something?
Because
he must be aware.
It's just my train car. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I use it to go back and forth to the train station which is like less than 6 minutes away.
You guys have the Odyssey for like the bigger trips.
Yeah,
and stuff,
and
right?
then I take and then I take it to Cornhole.
Yeah,
that's about it.
It's the 5-10 minute drives.
Yeah,
probably my house when you picked me up for lunchbox. That was the longer trips that had been in.
Yeah,
okay, makes sense.
So I mean, I don't really don't put any miles on it. It was Nikki's, car. She, her. I think it was like a birthday, or it was not a birthday gift. It was a gift from her father, but she paid it off and everything like that. And
yeah, I forgot. I've seen that car as long as I've known Nikki. So
yeah, it's an 07.
Wow.
So it's been around a while and it still works. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know if she's ever changed the muffler. So
probably not.
If not, it's like almost 20 years old.
Wow.
So. Yeah. Getting some good mileage out of it.
Toyotas are good, man. Toyotas will outlast some people.
Yeah,
they're really good cars.
And as I said, I don't drive it that much. Like, it's not going on long road trips or anything like that. So I don't need to get a brand new car. Just as long as that one works, then I'm fine.
No, unless you were a commuter or something like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Are you close to being done with this?
Cameron, we just started, buddy.
Mike's son, Cameron, very cutely comes down the stairs, halfway down. Are you close to being done with this? Like, just very like.
If you didn't see him too, like, I don't know if you could see him. He had his hand, like, because he's sticking his head, like, basically, like, over the railing of the staircase, and he's like, "Are you close to being done with this?"
Yeah. He does have that facial expression too. I could see him doing that.
Well, basically, any facial expression I make is basically his face.
Spitting image. Like, there's no denying he is your son. You could not. If it was you and him on Maury, it would be like, we're not even going to take the test out of the bag or whatever, the little envelope. We know. Go home.
Yeah,
this is definitely yours.
I can't deny it.
Nope.
There's no
150% your child.
Not that I ever would want to. I mean, he's adorable.
He's very adorable and funny. Came and greeted me today. As soon as I pulled up out of the Uber, he starts yelling, "Brian's here," but then ran away from the door as soon as I came up to it, like,
Oh yeah, because he was yelling down to me. That
I was here.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was like Rex Huerman or something like that.
No. He wanted to make sure that I knew, because just in case I didn't hear him from his shouting at the door.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a smart thing to do. So far, a lot of comments. I think from your pals. What was it?
Yeah,
Munch. Okay.
So Cello's a fellow streamer, and Gers is my mod.
Oh,
my
cool.
Streams.
Very nice. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, exactly, Gers. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Yes, I didn't do enough damage on this scone yet, too. I got to get the bite. All right. I mean, the other thing we should say, too, after we get through the show, maybe we said it before, we are going to go out to watch Cover City Soundtrack. You and I don't get to get out very often.
Yeah.
Not socially, anyway. Like, we play a cornhole and all that stuff, but to actually go out.
I'm so upset about this season, though.
I know. You.
I even, so when I was grilling yesterday out on the deck, I was trying to, even go through a motion of tossing and stuff. I still can't really lift my arm above 90 degrees.
You can tell.
It stinks.
It's very restricted.
I'll be there.
Being attacked by my cat. He won't let me stream in peace. Well, I don't know which was worse, the cat or Cameron. I'm not sure.
Mike, you just said that was a new cat, I think. right? I don't know. We don't have cats here. We had a dog.
Daphne Berry.
Yeah, we miss her. Oh, that was kind of heartbreaking, actually. I think it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before when Cameron just randomly said to me, "I miss Daphne." I was like, "Oy, oy, oy."
That's tough.
That was like the first time he had ever, like, just brought her up like that, just randomly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, and it does hit you at the most random. I'm sure there was something that like triggered his head, like that.
I guess so. I mean, I see, like, I get dog videos that come up all the time and stuff, but then I'm like, because excuse me, because I'm signed in like to the or the OneDrive or something like that on my phone. I get the memory stuff all the time, like on every day. It's like, remember this date like 3 years ago, 10 years ago, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like random pictures that happened on that day years ago. And most of them have Daphne in them.
Yeah. Well, first of all, she's your original baby. Before you guys had kids, she was the one. She was a great puppy, man. She was such a good dog. Like, just
she really
good
was
around people.
She was such a blessing. Because you never know what you're gonna get when you get a dog and everything like that. And even through training and everything like that, as good as they can be, they can always outside influence. You never know what's gonna happen with them. And it didn't matter who was here or whatever. She was just always just a sweet pup who wanted to say hi, wanted like, even if you were to just, and you've experienced it too, where it's like, she just always felt comfortable around people no matter what.
Yep.
So, like, even if we're just sitting on the couch, she'll just crawl up to you and snuggle next to you if you were petting her.
Yep.
Type of thing.
Definitely somebody who was a cuddler and liked being around people.
Yeah.
Like you're right. Some dogs, they get a little skittish or they're not really sure and they kind of sniff you out and then they'll, run away a little bit.
They'll even grab like a comfort toy or something and just hold on to that because they're kind of nervous about their, new people around and stuff like that. And she was never like that. She was just always just
pop right in your lap.
Yeah, she was just so curious. She loved people. She loved humans. She was not so much other dogs.
Really? Because I never saw her interact with other dogs.
So she would be okay, but like she was always more nervous around dogs and didn't really care. Like, it wasn't like that's not who she wanted to be with. She'd rather be with humans.
Yeah. Well, better that. I mean, especially as a pet owner, right? I mean, I guess she's probably around humans more than she is around other dogs.
Yeah, I mean, we tried, like, we even had her, we had her over at Nick and Ashley's, and, she met Milo at the time, and, Milo was a little crazier than she was.
Oh, totally.
But they, still, together, they were fine. Like, she wasn't, she'd be fine around other animals, but to her, it was just kind of like, other animals want to play, and she's like, no.
Yeah, no,
I'd rather be with the humans.
I want to be with my human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you were if you were throwing her ball around in the backyard, she loved that.
Yeah.
She loved chasing her ball.
She was a King Charles
Cavalier.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So was Milo.
Okay. Yeah, but Milo was
like, I guess it's considered Bellheim or whatever, which is like the mostly white and black spots type of thing.
Right.
And Daphne was black and tan spots.
Okay. Yeah. It's, from what I remember of Milo, that checks out. Milo was a little bit more.
Milo is actually
aggressive.
the same color of her Daphne's father. Daphne's father pup was the same color. But Daphne's mother was black and tan. But that's actually why Daphne had a white patch right on her chest. It was the only white patch she had, so we were always like, "That's her dad, right there." That's how he was represented.
It's funny. Yeah, she was a good pooch, though, dude.
Yeah,
miss her. But anyway, as a little turn for depression there, but we love Daphne. Daphne was awesome.
Yeah, that's fine talking about Daphne and stuff. Actually, it was my son's fault.
Well, actually, it's the cat's fault.
It really, yeah. All right,
Gers' cat.
All right, so Gers, it's your fault. Oh my gosh, don't take offense.
No, I'm not. I've only met you for the first time on this stream here, and I'm an idiot, so don't even listen to me. Oh boy, yeah.
Oh boy.
So anyway, what's some stuff we can talk about? Well,
how about this? Because we were well, let's dive into sports a little bit because I mean, first off, the Yankees and the Mets are kind of like
it was good for a little while.
Yeah, they're in slumps right now. It's crazy. I think the Mets just lost their 6th in a row.
Did they?
Yeah. The Yankees were at 5 in a row or something like that. They were in a bad losing streak. Did they just win?
They won 1, and I think they lost again. So it's kind of, they're like maybe 10 games over 500. They built themselves a nice cushion there, but they're not playing good baseball right now.
So it's like weird too because like even with the Mets, it's like their offense has never been outstanding. Even with Soto added, Soto's starting to find his way and everything like that, and he's starting to hit a little harder and stuff. Even if he's making outs, he's actually starting to hit the ball a little harder, which is nice. Pete is still kind of maintaining a little bit, not off to the April start that he had and the May start, which was like crazy. Not on the still a little bit further behind Judge because his May was unbelievable.
Yeah. He was definitely due to cool off, and he has.
But that's the thing. It's like you're all kind of due to cool off, and Alonso was starting to show that a little bit. But he actually, like, instead of falling into a huge slump, he's still hitting the ball hard, which is nice because it's like you don't want them to just be swinging and missing type of thing. Like once you start seeing that, then it's like now they're really in their heads and stuff.
Yeah.
But like Pete's, he's not falling into that. He's still hitting the ball hard, still hitting the ball out, and even hard singles, hard doubles, and stuff, which is nice. So it's like their offense has never been like, except for Colorado, was never like overwhelming with the run support and stuff like that. But their pitching was doing phenomenal.
Right.
And now their pitching is just letting everything up. Like they're just like,
which is closer to how they were built at the beginning of the season. That was the concern about the Mets was their pitching.
Yeah.
And now it's maybe people have just kind of timed them out, or they've come back down to earth.
Yeah, something's going on, and I think their starting pitching is still pretty decent. Every pitcher, especially if you're throwing every 5 days or whatever like that, you're not gonna be throwing winners every single time, every outing. I mean, people do obviously. The Cy Young pitchers have those years and stuff like that, but on average, your starting rotation is very, very hard to maintain that throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
But like their bullpen was just kind of like can't hold anything lately, which is it's so frustrating.
I have to mention this only because I think she just popped in the chat. I think is that Ashley? I'm assuming that's Ashley. That just said.
Oh no, that's it. Hey Ash, what's going on?
There's a different Ash.
There's another streamer.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to mention, hello, Ash. Nice to meet you as well. I'm meeting all of you guys for the first time, I think. But our friend Ashley, the one who co-hosted with us last time, and the reason why I bring her up is her and Nick, I believe, and there are only 2 people I know that are like this, will root for both the Mets and the Yankees.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right? Like, everybody I know it's one or the other. Like, you and your brothers are Mets fans.
And that's the thing, too. Like, when it comes to, like, our friends as fans, I think it's more of like it's because there's the stereotypical Mets or Yankees fan that if you root for one, you hate the other type of thing.
Yeah.
But for our friends, I don't even think it's I don't think you hate the Mets. I don't hate the Yankees. I just don't care. To me.
Yes. We are a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
Because if you really get into the hardcores of the fan base,
if the Yankees were to win the World Series last year, I would have been happy for you guys because that's the team that you root for. Personally, I wouldn't care. Like I don't care who wins the World Series if it's not my team.
Right. I don't have any angst. I'm not like, oh, the fucking Mets won the World Series, right? You know what I mean? But there are people out there, a lot of people out there who are like that.
Yeah.
Who
you get that at every game too, which is so annoying because like I don't know if they do it at Yankee games, but they definitely do it at Met games. Even if they're not playing the Yankees, after the game is over, it's let's go Mets, Yankees suck. And they're like, why?
I know.
What does that have to do with anything? That's just like that is some inferiority complex to
Seriously.
like the nth degree.
And we both have bigger fish to fry, right?
Yeah.
Because you got the Phillies in your
right,
and the Braves, and we've got the Red Sox and the Rays and all that shit. And it's like that's who we should be saying to go fuck themselves.
Right, yes,
it's not
exactly.
the divisional opponents that we can barely get by. Not the Mets who we play like 6 times a year and Really, we'll never have to face them until.
And it's funny because like those Subway Series things, like now it's obviously they've done the interleague play more often now, which is whatever. I mean, at this point, seeing as how there's the designated hitter on both sides, I guess it's less impactful type of thing. But it was like the Subway Series when it started, it was really just like it was almost like exhibition style. Like it was just for fun. Like it does, obviously it reflects on the overall record of the teams and everything like that. But it's just for fun. Like it's just because it's crosstown, you're all playing in the same city.
Yep.
It's fun.
Exactly. My brother hit on it perfectly. He just chimed in, "Hey, Matt, I root for the Yankees, but I won't root against the Mets." That's exactly how I feel.
I do root against obnoxious Mets fans.
And I'm sure that goes both ways.
I do the same thing for Yankees fans.
Right.
Actually, I root against obnoxious Mets fans, too.
Yes. I root against obnoxious people in general.
Absolutely.
And you know when you're around them, you're like, man, fuck this guy, man. It's such a, when somebody's just an asshole.
I know.
Regardless of the jersey that they're wearing, you can spot an asshole a mile away and you're like,
yeah.
It's not my kind of person. I don't want to be affiliated with him.
I just,
that brand or whatever.
It doesn't. I never understood that. Like I said, like that's some kind of like psychological inferiority complex type of thing that is going on in the minds of those people, because like just especially in a game where you're not facing that opponent and you come off of a win, and it's like, why do you even have to think about that team that you don't like? I don't like. It has nothing to do with anything. Like that's just some serious. It could also stem from just the they probably have obnoxious fans as friends too, and
absolutely,
and they just kind of poke at each other all the time. So
they just carry it out in public. That's how they are with each other. You're right. The only time I can ever recall genuinely hating a team was when Rex Ryan was the coach of the Jets. I'll be honest, but he is an obnoxious asshole.
He is totally.
Now he's not.
I enjoyed it though. I was kind of like, it just made me laugh.
I appreciate it more now that he hasn't been the coach. But in that moment when because they were good with him too. They got into the AFC Championship a couple of times. Like he was, for as big an asshole as he was a good coach.
And that's also for me in football too. It's like, yes, I'm a Giants fan. You're a Giants fan. But I still root for the Jets. Like I still want them to do well.
Same.
So like I didn't like, even with Rex Ryan, like I was kind of happy that they were doing okay. I find the obnoxious thing kind of funny to me, but I understand why it's like, why? Just shut
the fuck up.
Yeah. Especially when these coaches come in and they promise the world, and it's like, do you realize what organization you're joining right now?
Right. We're here to compete for multiple championships.
Yeah.
Okay, pal.
Yeah, you go.
Sure you are.
Good for you, Billy.
I wish you luck with Woody and his grandchildren using the Madden ratings for his front office moves.
I can't believe that was going on.
I know we talked about that previously, but I still can't get over that.
That was so funny.
But they were using Madden ratings to determine whether or not they should trade for Jerry Jeudy.
That's what I'm saying. That's when you've just run out of any options. Like I don't know what we're gonna do. It's just what does the video gaming world think?
Right, that's actually a good. Thank God you brought all the gamers on with us. Should NFL teams use their Madden ratings to determine player trades? I know that maybe I know sports gaming is a whole different beast, but still, that's wild to me. Like these guys have access to so much advanced metrics and stuff like that.
Especially nowadays too, with like everything is measured. Yeah. Some kind of numeric measurement for everything that goes on in sports nowadays. It wasn't just scouts go out, they get the feel of the player, they see how they react, you watch them on tape. Everything is measured from like just their stance and how they're spread out on like their feet, like or it's like how fast they react off of a snap. Like, like everything is so numerical.
There's an element of Moneyball in everything now.
In everything now.
I'm not saying that it's like
it's good and it's bad.
I think I know it annoys the shit out of your brother. Your brother is an old school.
Absolutely.
Mike's brother Tom is a very old school person. Does not really like we always joke about Tom like still printing out his MapQuest directions and stuff like that. So like I had to just get that in there. But like he doesn't really appreciate technology. He just wants to go off of feel. You know what I mean? It's almost like let's just say there's a pitcher that's pitching.
Like it's not that he doesn't appreciate technology. He just thinks it's used too much.
Yeah, that's fair. He wants people to be able to make gut calls. Like let's just say there's a pitcher pitching into the 7th inning, and that pitcher is doing really well. There are certain, like, I guess, metrics that would
But
say
he's at 98 pitches, and he's never gone to 102. So let's...
Right, and the batter that he's about to face is 2 for his last 4 against them or something like that.
Just,
like, all this crap, and it's like...
There's a lot. Well, that's... So, like, the Mets game was on... And I've brought this up to you guys, too. Like, the Mets game was on Apple TV yesterday. Like I can't stand when they do this crap. But if you don't have a subscription to Apple TV, you can't watch your local sports team. Like what is that? That's just stupid.
It's ridiculous.
But then besides that, it's like now you're listening to announcers who don't really know, like the players and stuff like that on both sides. It's kind of like the network television, but the network television, like those announcers at least are sports guys who like pay attention. Yeah. Like, and kind of they've been watching all the teams type of thing. Like I'm assuming that's the Apple Plus, but it's I equivalent the sportscasters from like Apple Plus or Peacock or whatever the heck it is, those stupid apps to watch. I equivalent those types of announcers to the FiOS news team.
It's very close to that. I was gonna say. I was thinking more like Boom Goes the Dynamite Kid.
Yeah. Or that. But that's what I'm saying. It's like
amateur.
It's very, very amateur.
Yeah.
So like yesterday, it's like they had, just for an example, this falls along with the technology. So they have in most broadcasts now they have the strike zone box, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that viewers at home can get an idea of where the strike zone is. And stuff like that. It's not always perfect because it's obviously a digitally, imprinted box on the camera.
Right.
But it's pretty accurate. It's kind of there.
Probably within like 90 to 95%.
Yeah, it's pretty close or whatever. So there was a couple of pitches. I think it was like Brandon Nimmo that was up or something like that. And I think he wound up walking, or maybe he got a hit or whatever. But he had 2 strikes on him, and there were 2 pitches that were like inside. Excuse me. And the box even captured them inside. And it was like, it wasn't just like, it's like resting on the outside line or something like that, or inside line. But it was like, there was a gap between where the ball was and where the strike zone box was or whatever. And these announcers were like, oh, that's 2 calls right there that should have been strike 3. And I'm like, that's your broadcast right there, buddy. Like, you're not even looking at that to see.
Right.
Like,
you put the box there. And you're not looking at it?
It was like...
Oh, my God.
So, but not only but not only that kind of stuff. So when I was going along with the technology and the Apple TV crap, but they have the percentages in the lower right-hand corner of, like, just random stats. So, like, when Pete Alonso was up, Pete Alonso hits a home run, this at-bat. And I think he saw like 3 or 4 pitches at this at-bat or whatever. Every pitch in the lower right-hand corner, probability of a home run, 4%.
So like live updating based on the count?
Yes. I'm like, what does that even mean? Where are you getting that from? So they're just taking calculated stats, I guess, from every single at-bat that he's ever had. And like just in every count that he's ever had, right, and how often he's hit a home run at that exact moment or so. Like, I don't know. Like, where are you getting that from?
Yeah, the fact that they have a stat like that, because you can't explain a stat without, you'd have to know the algorithm.
Right.
Right, and you couldn't possibly know the algorithm because you need to know Pete's history against that pitcher with those counts in those situations, like runners on and stuff like that.
It didn't make any sense. There was another bat or whatever, and it was like it was like probability of hitting into a double play.
Yeah,
where are you getting? Like, I don't get it.
I mean,
that's overkill on the technology number side.
Oh, 100%. Because you can't even you know this because you used to play baseball. Baseball is a situational game. You're going to hit differently depending on a lot of things. And nothing to do with statistics. It like literally could be.
And depending on the batter too, like the way they approach every single pitch.
Right.
Depending on the count, depending on the pitcher, depending on if it's righty or lefty, depending on like the weather, depending on how you're feeling.
Right. That's right. I was just going to say, the one thing that all these things forget about is, the player could have a history or there could be like probabilities, but maybe that day, maybe his balls are itching. Maybe something's a little off. You know what I mean? And you can't concentrate as well in the box.
Yeah.
And that does play a factor. And that's, a lot of people, you're right. That's where like the statistics and stuff like that just get to be a little too stupid.
It's overkill.
And it takes the fun out of it, too.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I guess it's because they're looking for something to be like, watch us. We have predictability in the right-hand corner of our,
right.
Like, no, I don't care about
this is a fucking OTB or something like that?
I don't care about that. Just put it on my damn local channel. That's all I care
That's
about.
it.
It's my local team. Let me watch them.
So that way you don't get a broadcast. Be like, and now we have Peter Lanso coming up. Lanso.
Actually, there was the guy on ESPN. What was the announcer? He always pronounced Spanish names funny. It was just like an older white guy. I can't remember his name. And I always used to make it because I put it out to Nikki, and every single we would talk about it every time. Like he would come up with like, and there's Carlos Beltran is up at the plate.
Yeah. That's sort of like intentional, unintentional mispronunciation of the Latin name. Yeah. I know exactly the guy you're talking about.
I saw a clip of it was I can't remember. It's a very, very conservative news program, and I can't remember the name of it or whatever. But like, I watch clips of it because it makes me laugh because the hosts are so funny. They just say whatever comes to their mind, type of thing. And he was like, the one guy was talking about how this trend of like when you're pronouncing names that are Spanish names or something like that, people tend to go into the Spanish accent for some reason when you're saying their name. Like instead of saying Martinez, they're like, it's Martinez. It's like I don't like, you don't see that with other things. It's like, it's like, an Irish guy comes up, oh, here comes McGillicuddy. Like,
right, never. That's a good point.
It's like, why do we do that for Spanish names?
Right.
Like, you have to go into this accent when you don't speak. Like, if you have an accent and you speak it, that's different. But, like, people who don't have accents change it all of a sudden to fit that name that they're speaking.
I have a normal speaking cadence, and all of a sudden I just go, and you are Latina.
Yes.
No, you can just say Latina. It's totally fine. That doesn't have to be with the emphasis on Latina. Yeah, it's weird, man. People do it all the time, though. And it's usually...
Now, if you're speaking the language and you want to hit the accent because you're trying to, like, speak someone's language...
That's different.
That's different. But this is just like people...
Or if you're bilingual, then, you can get a...
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're bilingual and you're speaking another language and you've taught yourself the accent to, like, so that it sounds clear. Actors do it.
Right.
When they're speaking accents, they're changing their accent to film whatever character that they're playing, they change their accent. But it's like similar. If you were speaking that language and you could fit into that accent and it sounds more natural to speak to someone that way, then that's fine.
Right.
It's just one of those like things when you're speaking without an accent and you just decide to change it for the one word.
Yeah.
It's just
out of nowhere. And you like look at it, you're like, okay.
Yes.
I'll go with it, but I know that's not you.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Matt. That's the little big league stats. Always
the guy
the announcer
in the booth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so great. He's was it like at home on even days or whatever. It's just like everything about like the stats that guy brought up was just so fantastic. And it was before its time of proving the point of how ridiculous certain stats are.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, what are you reading into?
Right. That's also just we're one of the few people I know that talk about that movie as regularly as we do. It's a very underrated, underseen baseball movie.
Oh my gosh, I love that
people
movie.
talk about the big ones. You know, they talk about Bull Durham. They talk about
Major
League, Field of Dreams, The Natural. Like those are the ones
Yeah.
that everybody hits. I'm like, oh man, Little Big League is such an underrated movie. The
Yeah.
baseball scenes are choreographed
because
well.
I think because it came out similar time to the Rookie of the Year, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So and Rookie of the Year was a very very kiddish type of baseball game, movie. I love that movie because it's like I think it's hilarious, but that was more of a childish side of a sports movie.
Right.
So I think because Little Big League stars a kid getting involved in the major leagues, it kind of fell into that category of it's a kids movie type of thing.
And it wasn't. It was more like it wasn't like rated R or anything like that, but it was more.
No, but it was showing that because that kid wasn't it was showing he was actually super mature when it came to baseball.
Right.
And how baseball kind of transcended the age. Like, it wasn't about his age. It was just about your knowledge of the game.
Right.
Like, you can be whatever age. It doesn't matter. But if you have knowledge of the game, you could actually understand and even manage
professional players. Yeah. Yeah, it was a great story. It was, and like I said, the choreography on the baseball in that movie was great.
Well, that was also too like I think I've seen that. I've seen it brought up in the past, like on certain articles of like when they talk about movies that got sports movies that got the gameplay actually very well done. And that was like the top one because all of those, like most of those players all played baseball. All those actors, for the most of them, I think like 99% of them all played baseball. I mean, they had Kevin Elster was their shortstop.
Right. Right.
You know, so I mean, and if people don't know, Kevin Elster was a professional
shortstop for
the Mets and
in the 80s and 90s.
And you know, Dave Magadan was in it, Ken Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson was in it, and stuff like that. You know, they made those cameos and stuff, but all of the fielding was like done by people who play sports,
right?
Like who play the game of baseball,
and it looked like it. The transfer from a shortstop to second base on a double play.
Yeah,
just they looked like they were athletes. And you can tell in other movies where they have non-athletes playing those types of roles, it just looks kind of messed up.
It looks awkward, especially if you play the game. You know, you're just kind of looking at it like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what wasn't too bad either was it wasn't great, but it was decent. Was For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner.
Oh yeah.
He could pitch, like you could tell he could throw a baseball. You know, there's some good choreography there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's another reason why I also like Major League. 'Cause Major League, I thought was out the first one. The other ones got a little weird, but
yeah, they got a little hokey after that.
But the first one,
I enjoyed Major League 2, but not as. The first one was definitely by far.
The first one we still quote today.
Oh, absolutely.
Did we ever tell the story about how I reached out to one
I don't know if we did. I don't know if we ever did on this on the podcast.
I'll give the abbreviated version of it. So if you've never seen the movie Major League, it's a great movie, by the way. It was made in like 1989. And there is a sort of like a non-character in the movie during like the spring training scenes. So like the spring training scenes are all like
he's basically an extra.
Essentially, yeah. Like I'm not even sure if he's in the credits. He might have been, but I don't know for sure. But I had to go look.
Like he doesn't have a speaking line.
No.
So it's like you don't even have your SAG card for that. You're just
Just a guy that maybe was on the lot that day. He's like, hey, you want to put on a uniform or whatever?
Exactly.
But if you go back, you can find it. It's in for the first 20 minutes of the movie. The character or the player's name is Gentry. And Gentry, during the spring training scenes, at some point gets cut. He has a red tag in his locker.
And that's the only time you see him.
Right.
You only see him for this moment because they talk about these are the cuts. You know, they're gonna start making. I mean, if you don't know anything about sports, in spring training they go through actual like you're doing tryouts. Even the people who are technically signed and going to make it, you still go through a tryout period. But then you have Oh, okay. I gotta go say goodbye to my in-laws. I'll be right back.
That's fine. I'll tell the Gentry story while you go do that. So yeah, Gentry during the Major League spring training scene or whatever, he gets cut. Goes back to his locker and he sees a red tag hanging over his locker. The red tag hanging over the locker signifies that you've been cut by the team, right? For whatever reason, Mike, myself, his brother Tommy, our buddy Noah, and Nick have kind of quoted that scene or like paraphrased it for the last 25 years. I don't even know why, because it's such an insignificant scene. Anyway, we fast forward like about 3 or 4 years during COVID, and I reach out. I find the character that played Gentry, and I said to Mike and my buddy Noah, but behind his brother Tommy's back, I'm like, I think I'm gonna email this guy and see if I can get him to wish his brother Tommy a happy birthday, like over like Zoom or some shit like that. I forget exactly what I said to him. But I wrote this motherfucker a long email just being like, hey.
I can't believe you did this, too.
He wrote me back, though.
I know, which was so fantastic. Did you tell us before or just after you got the reception from, like, the reply from him?
What?
That you were writing to this guy.
I think I told you guys that I was going to do it. Not your brother. I didn't tell your brother.
No.
But I told like you, Noah, Nick, whatever. I think I sent it, and then I sent it to you guys. I'm like, hey, I sent this out. We'll see what happens. Couple days later, he writes me back and said something along the lines of, nobody's asked me about that character in like 30 years. But he wrote me back such a great email. It was
There was something very upsetting about it, though. Remember, he had like a jersey or he had a jacket.
He had a jacket. Yes, this is great. Man, I wonder if see if you can talk for a while. I might have the email.
Yeah. Just the idea of reaching out to this random person, and I mean, it's kind of scary at the same time of how like the information highway, and like this guy doesn't act or anything like that, but you were able to track him down and find an email.
Found it.
To email.
Found it. Ready? Hi, Brian. Thanks for the email. I don't get many requests to reminisce about the Gentry role because he's been in academia for like 30 fucking years, this guy. Of course, that's quite a long time ago now. Occasionally, I'll come into a classroom to start teaching, and a few students surprise me by showing a clip of Major League on the big screen, usually the running scene with Wesley Snipes. I guess he might have been in the background of that one, too.
Oh, maybe. Okay, yeah.
I can try to send a video clip, or maybe we can Zoom call if that works for you. I'm afraid I don't have any memorabilia from the film. I think we asked him if we could sign a jersey, something like that.
Yeah.
I did have a Major League jacket, a gift to all cast, but I gave it to my younger brother, who then lent it to his girlfriend at the time, apparently a Major League fan, and once that relationship ended, so the jacket disappeared. Anyway, happy birthday to Tommy.
That's so upsetting. Can you imagine?
We asked some like freaking like D-list character from Major League.
In the movie, his name is Gentry.
Yeah. But the man's name is Michael Toma or something like that. I searched the shit out of that thing. I stalked him is what I did. Yeah, I went on Google. I found out that he was working in some like college in Canada. And I wrote his email, his EDU or whatever the hell they have in Canada, and he wrote me back within a couple of days. So, and he was willing to do a Zoom call, but like we didn't think Tommy knew how to use Zoom, so we were like, that's probably not going to work. So, but it was fun. It was entertaining for.
Tommy knows how to use Zoom. He uses it for school.
But not in 2020 or whatever it was. Like I don't think Tommy. This was like.
That was his first piece of fan mail that he ever got.
Probably. It didn't seem like he was used to getting mail like that at all.
But how upsetting is that? That you're not an actor. Right, like I mean, you are like you obviously he was acting, so he was trying to be an actor.
Right,
he got into this role where he had a close-up shot of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had an emotional state and everything like that. He has a name to him in the movie, and he gets memorabilia for being in the movie.
Gives it to his brother.
On
like a cold night or
like
something.
what?
And then his brother gives it to
girlfriend,
some random chick who walked out.
The minute you have a speaking line, did he have a speaking line?
No, that's what I'm saying. He doesn't have a SAG card.
So we're not even sure he's in the credits.
I probably not.
So he's like an extra. He's just a random extra.
Basically, but I mean, but it's not. But he has the focus of the shot is on him.
What happened?
Because he gets cut. They're just showing other players getting cut from spring training.
It's almost like somebody writing some fan mail to Juliet and Charlotte for their acting.
Well, he is a grown man. If somebody wrote Juliet or Charlotte a thing,
Right.
I would call the police.
But it's the same type of. But it's the same type of like. in terms of like part, they might have even gotten more airtime.
They definitely did.
Yeah, this guy was on screen for 3 seconds.
Right.
Maybe 2. Like, it was that fast.
They got more. So I mean, basically.
But it stuck with us for 30 years.
I know.
or
Well,
whatever.
because it's a very first off, it's one of the biggest movies of all time, type of thing.
An extra on the movie.
He might have had credit. I'm not sure. I found his name, so obviously somebody knew it out there. Like, I didn't just I had to go search for that, and somebody had it on the internet. So I wasn't the first one, obviously, or he was in the credits.
I can't believe that you found some kind of way to communicate with this guy, and then he replied.
I really thought I was going to scare him off with what I wrote him, because it was like, hey, you probably don't get this very often,
all of a sudden, the police show up at Bride's door.
Right.
We heard you're harassing someone. You
Right.
stalked out their email.
Well, and he was from Canada, too, so maybe I'm the reason why the relations right now aren't going too well.
Some international crisis.
It's my fault that we're at sort of a crossroads with Canada at the moment.
Yeah.
This Diano guy, way back in the day, he was.
I think it was before Justin Trudeau was the prime minister, so you're okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What was that? That's it. It would have been if I hadn't emailed this guy, apparently. So.
All right, we're gonna go upstairs.
Yes, please.
And we need do we need to rinse our glasses?
Yes, I think so.
I don't think Brian liked the scone.
You didn't like the?
No, I'm nursing it because it's a thick scone. And I had dinner before I came over.
You didn't like the idea of rinse? I think.
Want to rinse it?
Yeah, I'll do it.
You'll do the first one. All right. I'll grab the beer then. We'll go Pilsner with this one because this is like.
This is heavy.
It's very heavy.
From Barrier?
All barrier stuff, yeah. So we're rolling into the barrier experience later on.
Are you wearing that shirt when we go?
No, I'm gonna change. We talked about this before.
Who, you and Brian?
Yeah. Well,
Are you gonna be wearing a Hawaiian shirt like Brian?
no, I'm the only one wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Are you wearing a Hawaiian? Would you consider that a Hawaiian shirt?
It's kind of like a Hawaiian shirt. I call it my White Lotus shirt. I guess somebody said it was nice. One of
Did you watch White Lotus?
I did.
All 3 seasons?
No, I have to watch season 3 still. But
So far, do you like season 1 better or season 2?
I liked. Equally. I honestly, I like maybe season 2 a tiny bit better.
Really?
Just the ending. The ending on season 2 was really good. The ending on season 1 was really good too. And I also like the hotel manager, whatever the hell his name was. That's why, hence the White Lotus shirt.
I'm not a fan of the show.
Mike doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's very love or hate. And I could see people hating it but still watching it. It's that kind of show.
I don't love or hate it. I'm in there. I watch it just to.
It's just a weird show.
It's strange. It's awkward. There's a lot, like Michael said, it's a lot of awkward conversations. It's a lot of conversations.
But it also keeps, for me, it keeps me coming back. Like, it's awkward enough that I'm still intrigued by this, but I want to see what happens. And they do move the story forward. It's not like without story.
There's actually a very, very likable
Thank you, brother.
character in season 3.
Okay. Is that this what's his name? Bilbo Scoggins? What the frick's the actor's name? What's his name?
No, it's
The weird looking dude. What's his name?
I don't know, but I know he has a
Walter something. You know what I'm talking about? The brown haired dude.
Walter
I know,
Cronkite?
he's greasy looking.
Yes, he's very greasy looking.
Greasy looking.
Off the top of my head,
I didn't watch it after the
His
first
name
season.
is like Bobbins or something.
Yes.
The first season actually,
Right.
the
I'm not
first
that
the
old.
first season really turned me off from it. I was just not a fan.
Would turn you off just as much. But it's the girl. It's the girl who plays his girlfriend is a very, very, very likable character.
What was there was a
Okay.
I think
in season 3, the dirtbag one. Okay.
I think it was because you.
She's got like bucky teeth a little bit.
Okay.
And she you really like her as a character.
You're the one who. I think you're the one who told me to try watching it first.
Probably. I think I was the first one to watch it of our
Yeah.
friends.
And it was either I found it or Nikki found it or you found it. It was somebody describing it online or whatever, and it was like, the episode's like you might have an awkward lunch or someone might kill themselves or something like that. It was like,
Yeah.
it was just like what is happening in this show? It like everything about it. It was like I was expecting the plot to move forward, and I feel like half the episodes nothing happens.
It's the whole point of the mystery of somebody.
But it's but I understand there's a mystery of it because they set it up in the beginning on the first episode, but
They
that there's some kind of a mystery or whatever that's got to, but most of the episodes don't move the plot forward. They don't even like really give you a huge depth detail of the characters. It's just kind of like, okay, so now what?
I think each one is building up individual plots slowly and doing a lot of character development because at this point somebody dies in every single season, and it makes it like you can't figure out who it is because every single one has a reason to get killed or die or something happen.
I don't know.
Can't figure out.
Wasn't my cup of tea. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
There were characters in the first season that I liked, and other ones that I could not stand. I as hot as she is, what's the one that Sydney Sweeney? She's in the first season, correct? Sydney Sweeney is. If you don't know who Sydney Sweeney is, people are making bars of soap after her, so they could bathe themselves in Sydney Sweeney's bathwater. This is a true story. You can get a bar of soap that is based off of Sydney Sweeney's old bathwater. She is next level attractive. That's just Google her. Oh my God, she's one of the daughters in that first season. That's that's getting stoned all the time. She ends up banging like a bellboy or something. I'm sorry, but she's doing one of the girls right there. Sorry.
Right. Can we go upstairs now? I know.
It came out.
You're riffing because it's
That's what was going on in the show.
Yes,
so I was trying to describe the character.
It's fine.
Anyway, but she is very, very attractive, and I could not stand her character. I liked the hotel manager guy, the Australian dude or whatever. The guy who's shirt I'm sort of wearing right now.
Yeah. The hotel manager was I think my favorite character.
He was funny, and he slowly developed sort of like a cocaine habit, I believe, throughout the.
He's not a good guy.
No, he's a horrible person. But his character, was
his
very
character.
Good.
I think the whole thing is about character development.
I enjoyed his character because he was always because he was always, as the manager, he's super two-faced. Yes. So it's like he's always trying to be polite to his guests, but you can always see the hint of sarcasm and just complete aberration.
Oh yeah, like when he's not around the guests, he's a total degenerate. He can't stay off the drugs.
Yes,
he hates people.
Yeah,
but when he's walking through the lobby, hey, what can I do for you?
Yeah,
it's just he had that whole thing. So yeah, the two-faced nature of him, and then when his drug habit and all of his I guess problems came more to light throughout the season as he became more agitated, as he became more just stressed out with what was going on around him. That's why I like that character. But some of the other ones, the other guy, Stevie Zahn, played another one, the father with the big balls or something like that.
Oh, my
Remember
God.
That?
Yeah.
Where, he thought he had cancer or something like that, and his balls are humongous in the mirror or whatever the hell it was. That was another weird character.
That was the other thing that hit you right in the face, literally, right in the beginning, too, where they're just showing his balls, and you're like, what the heck am I watching?
Yes, and that speaks to the randomness of there could be just somebody just sitting there having a sip of wine and a beach chair.
He's talking about something with his
balls.
He's talking about something with his wife about, he's got an issue with his balls or whatever, and he's worried about it. And then they just show a close-up of it. I'm like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
There's chocolate all over the couch.
That's Yoo-Hoo, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we made a right turn talking to Steve Zahn's balls there. I don't know, but
all right, so let's
crack open number 2.
Yeah. I love him in Saving Silverman.
He was great in Saving Silverman, and also in That Thing You Do. I was a big fan of him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the guitarist. He's Lenny.
Oh, that's who. I don't remember any of the characters.
Yep.
All right.
Skitch, how did we get here? All right. You got to be quick with me. I'm from Erie, PA.
Go fish.
All right.
What are we doing? Legend. All right, hold on. Let me look at Legend. All right, so this is Barrier Legend. This is a Pilsner. It's a 4.8 ABV. So we have moved down from 6.8.
It says quite snappy on the can.
Quite snappy.
I want something snappy.
I quit.
It just worked out perfectly.
Okay, so the description is step into tradition with Legend, our crisp and refreshing Czech-style Pilsner, brewed with a time-honored trio of Saz. What are these words? Saz, Helerato, and Magnum hops. These are all hops and So if you're a brewer, you know all this stuff. I don't know any of these things.
Nope.
Wow.
Hops, I know the word.
Well, the word hops. So I'm these are the ingredients, I guess.
Magnum is in there. I thought that was a prophylactic, but apparently not. Apparently put it in microbrews now.
Can I get a prophylactic? A prophylactic? Do you know that one?
Oh, I do.
I had to hit more. Oh, we quote that all the time too.
Oh my God,
that's another one.
10 Things I Hate About You.
I can't. And that's
in the credits too. That one. Yep. Yes. His character.
Thinking of buying a Tercel. Yeah, that's a Toyota.
Yeah.
I can't. All right, so let me go back to finishing this prophylactic. All right. So Saz, Halerato, and Magnum hops. This lager pours golden with a tight, foamy head and delivers a clean floral aroma. Layered with, this is a long description, layered with subtle citrus and a whisper of spice. The malt bill featuring, I had to click the more button. That's how long this is.
Oh, wow.
The malt bill featuring Pilsner, Munich, and a touch of honey malt lends a light biscuity backbone with a gentle sweetness that perfectly balances its moderate bitterness. Finishes dry, lemony, and unmistakably legendary. Holy Moses, that is quite the description.
Before we do the next one, I have to look up to see if there's any license-free porno music we can play as you describe these beers. Yeah. We have to be able to play something because that is very exotic what you just described there. That's the most...
When you have to click the more button,
for a Pilsner, too.
Yeah.
This is going to be one hell of a Pilsner, though. My hopes are sky high right now for this Pilsner.
Yeah.
Based on the Magnum and the whatever you want to call it. Legend.
Holy cow. All right, so this is another, and again, we always talk about this. The local breweries, we love whoever does their designs.
So fun.
It's a lot. It's always a lot of fun. Whoever does the labels and everything like that, they do such a great job on all of them so far.
Yeah.
That Lunchbox didn't have them yet because they just started.
They'd only been in business for like 3 months.
Yeah, they basically
so they weren't
just
canning
started
yet. And the process of canning is a little...
Yeah, and they're basically only the owner was doing the canning.
Yeah.
Over there. But that's the thing. Like, they all have... They're all similar cans in the 16-ounce can, but they all have, like, these beautiful labels and everything like that. It's really nice.
Yeah. The can is back. No more bottles for people. You got to go back to the can.
Yeah.
Cans!
Cans! Cans!
It's no baby. It's just... Sorry. Mike and I are just quoting the most random fucking parts of movies.
There's no baby.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Are we doing it at the same time?
You want to do it at the same? Oh, God. Hold on a second. Let me get my...
Yeah, I have to get under. 3, 2, 1. That's good.
That's pretty good.
All right. Not perfect, but right there. Okay. All right, let me see if I can do a better job pouring this time because I've messed that up a few times.
I got to bring this close in.
You know what? I'm just going too fast. This is going to be fine. Last time I was... a little aggressive. There we go. This is a nice color on it too, though.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's a lot clearer than the other one, though. The other one had, like, a very, very, like, rich color to it.
Yes. You could see it was,
oh, yeah.
Little thick with 2 C's.
This is very Pilsner. Like, you could... I didn't get the right...
Yeah.
Darn it.
But
just missed it. Not terrible. Not terrible.
Not super light either. There's a little color in there.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Ready?
Cheers.
Cheers.
That would be the playroom above us. It's very good. I know. I'm sorry. I'm drinking with 2 hands or whatever, but I still don't have full strength in my right arm. So I look like Donald Trump taking a sip of water from a water bottle. I have a legitimate excuse, though.
Yes, you have.
It's very good.
Yeah, a lot of flavor for a Pilsner. It's not your cookie cutter.
Because there's a lot of times, especially when it comes to beer, like if you get the wrong beer, you're like, I can't have that. I can't finish that.
Yeah.
I was saying again, like every beer that we've had, I'm like, I could totally drink this again. Totally.
Absolutely. There's not been a single beer across all the beers we've had that I'm like, no, that hit. It was a good flavor, good taste. I have multiple of those.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have my favorites, but
Absolutely.
I mean, they're all good quality beers. This is a good Pilsner. This is like I would say a flavorful Pilsner. Sometimes you have a Pilsner, it's like, this is the most bullshit beer ever. It's like basic or whatever. This is like tasty.
I think we talked about isn't like Budweiser a Pilsner or something like that?
I think so.
Yeah, like it's like you have those generic, very commercial, things. But if you compare it to those, like none of these beers at these breweries can compare to those commercial beers at all. Like in a better way. I should say it the opposite. The commercial beers cannot compare to these local breweries.
100%. You get what you pay for. Truthfully, that is the reality, that you pay a little bit more for these beers, but it's a better beer by a mile.
Yeah.
Yep. This is good stuff. Am I getting a text here? Hopefully this is
Is it Gentry?
I hear you telling the story of my legend on your This is good. All right. What the hell were we talking about? So I told the Gentry story.
We were talking about sports, and I brought this up to you before on our documents sheet. So let's dive into this little sports theory or thing. Oh, well, actually, I don't even know. Like, we didn't even get to, when I started this. Actually, I was talking about how we had brought up the technology in sports, but we never really finished the conversation fully because one of the things I wanted to bring up was the debate of really starting to limit the roles of umpires in baseball when it comes to strike zones.
Oh, I mean, this is a big one among our
friends. This is very,
too.
very big.
It's big among everybody, but especially among our
especially
friends
because like when you see like nowadays and like the most recent one was the L.A. Dodgers pitcher Yamamoto. What's his name?
Yeah, you got it right.
It's Yamamoto.
Yep.
Had a chance for an immaculate inning. If people don't know, an immaculate inning is 9 pitches pitched, 9 strikes. So 3 strikeouts, 3 pitches each batter, 9 pitches is an immaculate inning.
And for context, there have been more no-hitters thrown than immaculate innings thrown in the history of baseball.
Absolutely.
Like 3-1. It's like very rare that an immaculate inning happens.
It's crazy. It's a crazy concept to be able to do that.
Right.
Like
at that level.
Like even if you threw a ball but the batter swung at it, it's a strike.
Right.
So it's like so I didn't see the rest of the inning. So however it was enticed, but the very last, so he was 8 pitches in to an immaculate inning. So he's on an 0-2 count on the batter, throws one right down the middle, fastball right down the middle.
Below the letters. I would say it was like belly button high. It wasn't.
It was crazy down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was hard to even like fathom how like if it was close or like it was no question right down the middle, and the umpire called it a ball.
Yeah.
Like that's just
one of the worst calls I have
crazy.
ever seen. Like we've had a whole bunch. Anybody who watches baseball knows there was an umpire called Angel Hernandez, who was terrible, historically terrible.
I guarantee you he would have gotten that right.
He would have absolutely gotten that right. Angel didn't miss this badly. This is as bad of a miss as you will ever see at any level, professional,
it was
amateur.
So upsetting. Like I'm not a Dodgers fan or whatever, but it's like as a sports fan, you appreciate those types of moments.
Yep.
And just to like. I mean, it was like, because as a fan, when you're watching certain things, then it becomes like a borderline strike or ball or whatever, and you're like, that was totally a strike, and then you're like, well, it was on the corner and stuff like that, so blah, 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 you can argue it one way or the other, but as a fan, you're like, there's no way it should have been called whatever. There is nobody on this planet who would ever have looked at that and gone, it was borderline one way or the other.
Absolutely. It was undeniably a strike. It wasn't marginal.
Like even without the box, and the box was pretty much, it was almost dead center. It was just a little bit in the upper region of the box, but it wasn't even close to the top of the box.
No, not close.
So even if you didn't have that, just like looking at it, it's just like, what are you looking at?
Yeah. Yeah, and the only thing I can say, I had to look for this. The catcher did set up high. So he wasn't fully in a crouch at the time of the pitch. He was a little high, so his body was elevated a little bit. Did that obstruct the umpire's view a little bit? Maybe a tiny bit, but by the time he caught it, like by the time the ball reached the plate, he was back in like a normal catching position.
Now, I said, because even Noah had brought this up in conversation saying like, I've seen the you're seeing a lot more often in the amateur sports and stuff like that. umpires and catchers wearing GoPros on their helmets and stuff like that. So, and you can view the game again and stuff, and you're seeing it from quote unquote their angle and stuff like that. And when you see these pitches coming in that are borderline, it's hard to actually see as quick as it comes into the camera, because you're talking about the camera and the frames per second. So how many frames, it can't catch. If you don't understand the way cameras work, even video cameras or digital cameras or whatever, they're basically taking a 1,000 pictures to display it onto your screen. So in those milliseconds, you're not capturing every single moment of real life.
Right.
It's close enough so that you can get the image as smooth as possible. But so when you're looking at those GoPros and stuff, it's hard to kind of see the balls and strikes just because of how quickly it's coming in, because you're missing those little tiny frames. When you're looking at it live, as fast as it comes in or whatever, you can see it a lot better, because I don't know, as a catcher, I've seen it, I've caught 90-mile-an-hour fastball and stuff like that, and you could still see it as fast as it is, and you have the idea. So as a professional umpire, you're used to looking at that stuff.
Right.
So it's like you've trained yourself to look, and regardless of whether the catcher is kind of obstructing you and stuff, you're still putting yourself in a position so you can see the pitch. And especially when it's a fastball, it's not even a breaking ball.
Right.
Like, as a breaking ball, that's when it gets tough, because it's like, when did it start to bend? Did it bend around the strike zone, or did it come into the strike zone?
Right.
Or was it in the strike zone and then came out of the strike zone right before it crossed? It's a straight pitch.
Yeah. And it was literally, it wasn't a cutter.
Yeah.
It literally was right.
It was just like a four-seam fastball, right down the middle.
Right down the middle. And he missed it. And he took away that guy's moment, and there was no way to review that pitch.
No.
And I guess that's what we're getting to in terms of technology is, should that play be reviewable, which it's currently not at the major league level.
Now, I understand, they've done it in both ways. I don't know if it's just college or if it's minors or however it is, because I know they've tried it in a couple of different ways. They've done I know they've done the strike zone where it's pure electronic, and they still have the home plate umpire, because you still need a home plate umpire for calls in the field and stuff like that, not just strike zone pitches. You need to be able to call foul balls. You need to be able to call plays at the plate and all that kind of stuff, and balks and whatever else you're seeing on the field. But for the strike zone I know they tried it in the minors. I think it was single A that they tried it in, where it was the strike zone was purely electronic. The pitch would come through, and then it would send the signal to the umpire, and the umpire would say whether it was a strike or a ball.
That fast, though, where it was
it was pretty fast. It wasn't he had to wait a couple. It would come in, and you would hear it, and then you would just give the call.
Okay.
So there was that, and now I know that they've done. Is it college or is it in AAA where they do the
helmet tap, where it's you can challenge it?
Yeah, where the batter can challenge the call.
I think it's AAA
almost immediately, and they throw it up on the screen so everybody could see it.
It's like tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
But I do think you need some way of getting those egregious ones correct.
Yeah. Well, but that's also how they came to the review, the challenge, even just challenging any play with the guy who blew was it the perfect game or the no hitter at first base?
Detroit one. Yeah, I forgot the umpire's name, but
where it was a blatant, and he even knew it too, but it was he already made the call.
Yeah, he made the call. You had to live with it that time. The pitcher handled it really well. I forgot the guy's name, something like Contreras or something like that. I forgot the dude's name. But then the next day, he brought the lineup card out, met with the umpire, who was visibly upset, crying.
I think he cried,
because he felt bad.
He felt terrible.
Probably getting freaking death threats and stuff like that from the Tigers fans. Yeah, that's the thing. The umpires don't want to mess it up. They're human beings.
You would hope.
Yeah, unless they got it.
Because that's the thing. And the other thing I brought up was that I feel like a lot of umpires have become more sensitive, and are just throwing people out for the dumbest things nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's you can't challenge, you can't talk to them about anything, God forbid, because they're getting scrutinized by everybody. Obviously, umpires are probably the most hated profession in all of sports.
Yeah, I would say any officiating in general is, just because the camera technology's gotten better than they are.
Yes.
Which you can't ask them to be better than technology. Technology is going to always usually in most cases
Yeah.
supersede human capability, right? And so that's what they're competing
for the most
against.
part. They're getting calls right, and even very close calls, they're getting right, and they always they for the most part have, which is crazy to think because it's like you see these calls like first base and stuff, and it's like you have to look at the ball going into the glove and the foot touching the it's like
or if it's in the NFL like a fumble. Did the knee hit the ground at the time the ball come out?
Yeah.
We're talking fractions of a second.
Yeah.
And you're right. They get it right. I would guess probably 9 times out of 10.
Most of the time they're getting it right
at a very high speed too. That these things are happening.
It's kind of one of those. You would hope that the umpires or the refs or whoever it is themselves would want to get the call right, and should be okay with embracing the technology that goes along with that, so that they can make sure that they get the call right.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times, I don't think I feel like they're getting, because of the technology and people seeing it on screen, and now they're getting threats and whatever. And it's understandable. Like, I mean, who the hell, like, why would you want to do that? Work a profession where, thousands and millions of people hate you for a single call type of thing. I feel like their integrity is being threatened by any kind of response, negative response. So it's like, even if the batter just turned, like there was I saw a clip the other day or whatever, where the guy, he struck out, but on a bad call, and the guy turned to the umpire and he's like, "You're having a really bad day," and he threw him out.
Yeah, which you're allowed to say.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't questioning.
Like you can hear it on the microphones picked it up.
Yeah.
You're having a really bad day. And he threw him out.
I think Craig Counsell, the manager, came out and just like, what did he say to you? He's like, all I said to him was that he was having a really bad day. And Counsell was like, you can't fucking throw him out for that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he's right. You're not. You can't comment about a ball and a strike. You can't say you missed that pitch.
Yeah.
That is, you can get kicked out for that. But you can tell the umpire you're having a tough day. Or are you seeing the plate okay? Like, you can ask questions.
Like you were just saying, I'm not happy with the call, like whatever. It's just something like, just as long as you're not saying to the umpire directly that you are wrong,
right?
For that,
you missed that one. It's not okay. But yeah, you can say you're having a bad day.
So it's just very, very weird. They're very, very sensitive nowadays.
Yeah. They probably feel a combination of threatened by the technology.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's just...
And the pressure to get all this stuff right, because they know if they get it wrong, there's a whole bunch of money on it through sports gambling, through people being pissed. It's just where we are. I don't know that I'd ever want to be an umpire or a referee at the professional level. Like, honestly, that's a crazy amount of pressure. I know that they get paid fairly well, but I don't know if they get paid. I don't know if I ever get paid well enough to have my life threatened. You know what I mean? Like, that's
absolutely. You kidding me?
It's all it takes is one screw up for you to be like a Steve Bartman type of figure in that kind of. You know what I'm talking about? Where like you make one bad call in the wrong moment.
Think of back in the day when it was like, when you're talking about gambling and stuff like that, how you'd have the mafia involved in like telling them how to play how to ref the games and stuff like that. Like, that's scary stuff. I mean, I'm sure they still get things like that going on, even though there's, I'm pretty sure they've made that stuff like felonies and stuff to try to deter any of that kind of action from happening, but I'm sure it still does.
Oh, totally. I'm sure they get threats regularly, both from fans, from mafia-type people.
Yeah.
Due to the amount of money that's in it on the gambling side. It's scary. I wouldn't want to do it.
No.
I wouldn't want to do it.
No,
I'd rather make a lot less money and have just security.
And work on your lawn. Right.
That's it. That's two joys in life. Being a mediocre cornhole player, mowing my lawn, and just being very middle class. I don't need to earn the extra couple of bucks and have my life threatened because, Tommy Two Sacks or whatever the fuck it is, put too much money on the Pacers. Or, I'm good, buddy. No, thank you.
Oh man,
were we going to talk to about the whole Jets?
Giants? So I don't even know how I brought this, how I came up with this, but like I said, we have this list that we always kind of refer back to if we're looking for something to talk about. So one of the things I brought up to Brian just before was I had thought of this. I think it was brought up on the radio at some point. because the Jets and the Giants stadium is in New Jersey, would you still root for the Jets or the Giants if they were considered New Jersey teams?
Right. If they were not considered the New York Giants or New York Jets, if they became the New Jersey Giants and the New Jersey Jets, would you then change your affiliation to like the Bills because
they're the New York team?
Right. It's a really good question. I don't know.
It's very it's very hard because like on its face you'd just be like, there's no way I can't root for the team that I've been rooting for my whole life.
Right.
You know? But then if you think about it, it's like, what about the Dodgers? The Dodgers were Brooklyn and
Giants
they
too,
moved
New York
across
Giants.
and the Giants, and they moved to the other side of the country.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
and I do think a lot of those fans did abandon them and became like Mets fans.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, or maybe Yankees, but I think a lot of the Dodgers and Giants
I think most
people,
of them moved to the Mets. I think majority, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Yankees at that time were still around, and those fans
and it's
were
like
homeless.
and that's what I'm saying. Like you're not rooting for the Yankees type of thing because you've always rooted for the Dodgers or the Giants, and you're just not going to root for the Yankees. So the new team you'll root for.
Yeah, I think I thought about this a little bit. It's not like the Giants or the Jets have been exceptionally good to their fan base. Like obviously the Giants have won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But in terms of like how they've treated their fan base, I can't say that like they've been like exceptionally good to their fans. You know, they kind of screwed them with the whole seat license thing.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of a shitty stadium if you really think about it. MetLife's sort of a dump. I don't know. I don't feel. I don't.
But
feel
then
a
again,
huge
at
loyalty
the
to
same
them.
time, it's like you. If that were to happen, and you were to say, "I'm only rooting for a New York team," now the Bills are in Buffalo.
Yeah.
When are you going to Buffalo?
Never.
To watch. I know, but he's a Buffalo fan. Our friends are Buffalo fans, so they have season tickets. They live around the block basically.
But they go to Buffalo to see games?
Yeah.
Do they fly?
No, not always. They drive there. They go to a game.
But then again, it's also a weekend thing. It's not like, it's not a baseball season where it's throughout the week and stuff.
Yeah, you can go on a Sunday and you can sell some of your games if you have tickets.
Yeah.
But still.
Buffalo's
7 hours away.
Yeah,
man.
it's rough.
Oof.
That's rough. And you're talking about during the cold season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went shoveling.
Remember they had the bad snow and they paid fans to go and shovel out the old stadium.
Their whole scene, yeah.
Like, what is that?
They were giving them like $25 an hour or something like that.
They gave them money. The Russos are going to take an Uber with us. We have to order an XL.
All of us? Okay, so we're getting an XL?
Yeah.
Okie doke.
Okay, then.
They already started drinking too, so I need to shower.
Are they drinking with us? Are they watching the show and drinking with us?
I don't.
Well, maybe you should tell them.
Maybe you should tell them.
I'm hosting right now.
You know that all the things that they're doing, you could definitely ask them. Just send them the link. That's your job. I already got the scone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Loved it. Love the scone. Could you send them the link?
He's doing it right now.
Okay.
God,
Because you made him do it. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't make him do anything.
You're making me
You
do
made
this.
him do this.
Oh, my
Seem like I can make him do anything.
Sometimes.
This
You made him
is-
change his shirt. You said he can't wear that shirt to the brewery.
Hold on. For
Well, I asked him.
this is I'll show you later. This is
You
real-
implied that shirt was not acceptable.
This is absolutely awesome. Thank you, Gers. If you're still on, thank you so much.
Okay.
Like, am
Fair
I
enough.
dressing down, or if he's dressing a little nicer, then I'm gonna dress more than that. So.
It is a brewery, though, so I just want to put that, like, in terms of dress code.
And if he went to South Shore, I was just asking if he was wearing a South Shore Baggers shirt to the brewery.
What's wrong with that?
I guess I always thought I also.
This is me. This is me. Just more. I'm in mourning right now, so I'm wearing.
Mike can't play cornhole, so he's become a whore for the league. That's all he can do. He's going to prostitute himself out, wear the T-shirt.
The only thing you mean South Shore because it's South Shore Long Island has nothing to do with South Shore Brewery.
It's kind of both. I
Yeah.
would say
So would you wear a South Shore Brewery shirt to a?
it's not a South Shore Brewery shirt. It's a South Shore Baggers shirt.
I guess maybe that's why I thought I was thinking. Also
This
with
is
South
its
Shore Brewery,
own.
you're
This is
wearing
its own thing.
and
Right.
You're wearing it to another brewery. I don't know.
No. We can, we even though we are
Because
affiliated
we were
with
talking.
that
Remember,
brewery.
we were talking about this before the South Shore Baggers became a thing. we were talking about it amongst our own friends, excluding Fiona, who's done a fantastic job helping you guys out with this whole thing too. So shout out to Fiona for that. But we were talking about South Shore something being our cornhole friends league.
Oh yeah,
where we were going to be doing it in our backyards,
driveways and backyards. Yes, and it might have been South Shore Baggers or something like that.
I think it was South Shore Bags and Brews. That's the first. That was the one that we came up with.
Yep.
Originally.
Yes, this is probably about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long pipe.
Yeah.
Goddamn scone. It is delicious, but yeah, you're right. That was the original, and then once it became sort of like real that we might do a league, that's when Fiona was like,
"Yeah, well, that was but because that was in retaliation of the way Li Kick was kind of like just ignoring requests."
Yeah.
To make their league a little bit better.
Yeah, for the full backstory, I guess, is we were playing at South Shore Craft Brewery through Li Kick, which Li Kick's a great organization. Like,
absolutely, because it's not just cornhole. They do a bunch of stuff.
They are adult social,
and it's a very very cool to be able as an adult to be able to do these leisure type of activities and stuff in a controlled setup environment where it's not just like go in your backyard and just kind of do whatever. It's like they're organizing leagues for you, which is really awesome.
By the way, I'm guessing this is one of the rooms.
That's George, down the road.
Okay.
It's the cranberry orange, George,
or as I call it, lemon. Totally fucked that up, but it's not lemon at all. It's delicious though. But yeah, so we were doing this through Li Kick. Li Kick has a lot of different social stuff. One of them being cornhole. We had just sort of outgrown the Li Kick experience. We had gotten pretty proficient at the game where we said, listen, we need to kind of either leave Li Kick, see if we can work with them on a different formula that would work for us.
We tried to give them ideas to enhance the league play.
Right.
Because there were, they had they've had, like, in their terms, they've had beginner leagues and then they've had advanced leagues, but it was based on
kind of like Mike from the Bronx or something like that. That judge promotion, sir, you're not a fan. Go ahead.
But they'd, it was like their advanced leagues were like that's what we were in basically. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Pretty much.
Like we were the more competitive league.
Well, we certainly turned it into one if it didn't start that way, right?
Yeah. No, it didn't start that way. But we've been playing with the same people.
Well, that was the other part of it too. We've been playing with the same people, and frankly, had recruited most of the people that were playing that night.
Yeah.
So we had effectively hijacked the league. It wasn't our intention to do that. It wasn't intentional. It just organically became.
But the thing was that when we started to invite other people who were in the league to do our random team generator stuff.
Yeah.
Where it was like, because we started out with originally we were going to pick teams.
Right. It would be like, be saying, hey, me and Noah, we're best friends. Let's be a team together.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, we've done that a bunch of times now. Why don't we mix it up and try to do a little bit different?
Well, when you invited me, Noah was like, you're going to be on my team. And then Brian, you were like, oh, it's going to be me and Dave. And we're like, that's how we were going to play. And then all of a sudden I was in a text message with like 7 other people, and and Noah was like, "We're gonna mix it up. Everyone's gonna just randomly get a partner from the 8 of us," which was fine. Like it was kind of nerve wracking, because I didn't know like 5 of the people in the chat. But
I mean, I think that's how I met. Who was it? Anthony? That's who ended up being your partner.
Anthony was my partner. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if maybe I had met him 1 or 2 times before that, but it wasn't like a lot. So I thought it was a bold move, Cotton. Yeah. But to be fair, it also helped us expand our friends group.
Absolutely. And it was I don't regret it whatsoever. It was such a great experience. But that was what was so we joined Li Kick as the group. I mean, you guys were in Li Kick 1 or 2 seasons before that anyway.
Yeah, some of them at Brew SA, which is now closed, and then obviously now it's South Shore.
But then as the group went in, we almost established ourselves right away because the way we did the Li Kick did the playoffs, They have the A bracket and the B bracket, and all of us were in the A bracket together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of funny that, like, we were just kind of, some of us were just starting out. It was our first league doing, cornhole and stuff like that. And, we were in the upper bracket.
Jumped right into it. Yeah.
And then we did it again, and we generated new teams again with the same group of people. Maybe even added one or two here or there or whatever. But it was a random pick again. So we all, the group of us made 4 teams or 5 teams or whatever it was and joined the league again. And then it just kind of like, you befriend everybody in the league because you're seeing the same people for the same nights and stuff.
Yep.
And eventually people from the league kind of wanted in on the idea of being randomly picked to have a teammate too, because they just it was fun to, like, you're playing with the same people over and over again, which is great. But when you do those tournaments where you're randomly hooked up with people from the cornhole world, and it's a fun experience because you're meeting new people, playing with new people. So this was kind of the same thing, but in a more controlled environment because you knew who you were going to get paired up with.
Right.
And then you were paired up with somebody random. So then it was just like more and more people wanted to be involved in how we were handling.
Right. Our formula had become the better formula for how to run a league.
Yeah.
Is what it came down to. And they liked that way of doing it better. And because of that, it became like, well, why would we go through LI Kick? Like we had effectively implemented our own subset of rules within LI Kick's league and said, okay, if we're going to do that, we might as well ask them, can we just work with you on a new plan? Because we're kind of doing our own thing here anyway. Is that like okay? And LI Kick, listen, I'm not going to say they just said no, but it was like they have their way of doing it. And that wasn't the way that they do it.
Right.
So, and I respect that. Like, they got to run it across a whole bunch of different locations, and they're just like, hey, this is the formula that works for us.
And it's kind of strange, too, because LI Kick, as you said, like, they technically have their beginner bracket and their intermediate bracket or whatever it is, however they want to label it and stuff like that. It's like we could have been the advanced group for them.
Absolutely.
And shown them, like, this is how you run a cornhole league if you want to actually get, like, decent cornhole players in and make it a more competitive league.
Right.
Like, we'll help, like, we'll give you those ideas and use them. And they were like, we don't want to do that. So that's when
which stinks for them, only because, like, you could have taken that and said maybe sponsored some really good players who might go play outside the area and be able to promote LI Kick as an organization.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the ultimate goal, is like when we see it now, we see people wearing our merchandise on, like, live streams and all sorts of shit. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Somebody wearing our crap out there. It's sort of and that's, you would think you'd want that if you want to expand beyond.
And that's what's cool about the like, I really love that when any one of us in the group of South Shore baggers now goes to tournaments, we're always communicating to each other and being like, South Shore baggers represent, like, they're all because they all look at it as South Shore baggers is their league.
Right.
And that's their home base. I'm going to do a tournament, I represent that league.
Yep.
Like, it's really awesome.
It is. And we're all rooting for each other. Like, that's just the cool thing, I think, about cornhole in general, but especially the group of people that we're with. Yeah, we're competitive. We all want to win. And you were alluding to the fact before, which is absolutely true. Just before you had the surgery, you would sort of hit your stride where, like, all of a sudden it was clicking.
Yeah.
You were shooting, like, for you to shoot below a 7 was actually a bad night for you, which, for, by the way, people don't know cornhole, shooting a 7 is, like, definitely, obviously it's not pro, but it's like an advanced level of scoring. It means you're getting at least 2 in the hole every turn and getting usually 1 or 2 on the board, which, again, is very hard. If you've never played cornhole before, that's pretty advanced. So for Mike to have gotten to that point, I don't know, really just playing, I would say more often for about a year, maybe 6 months to a year.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, it's only...
Wasn't even that. I mean...
I think it was basically... 5 seasons maybe that I was playing.
Hang on, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull up Scoreholio.
Something like that. But if you looked at my like my PPR history or something like that, I was in the low 5 or something like that when I first started keeping track.
It shot up.
And within the year and a half, I'm 2 points above that. Or, in the league.
Well, what I also wanted to do...
Overall, I'm just over 6. But
I wanted to look at the number of games you had played compared to your PPR, which I think is a really big indicator. Because, like... Here, let's see. Drinking Buddy Mike. Okay. Yeah,
meanwhile, I'm still promoting the podcast out in my cornhole.
Yeah. Let's see. Rankings. Let's go. Global. Okay. Drinking Buddy Mike. Oh, is it not the D is the beer mug or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Motherfucker.
Hold on a second. What is it that you want? Because I could just pull it up on myself.
I just want to see how many games you have under your belt.
How about, overall?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, so I got to do math. That's it went 318.
All right, so you've only played 318 games, and your PPR is what?
692.
Right. Now, look at my PPR, which is just over 7.
I can't believe my PPR is at 692.
I
didn't realize that I was that close to 7 overall.
Right. You, as Joe would say, you were edging. Yeah. You were edging on 7.
I'm very that's actually.
I can believe it. Do you know how many times I see you play in the backyard? And I'm like, oh, this motherfucker's lighting it up right now. I saw you make the jump. You were
wait,
there.
that was. Yeah, no, that's fine. Where was There's.
I know. I
yeah. Okay. So here's my PPR chart. And this is over about a 2-year span. So when I first started.
Oh, look at that. Here, I'm going to put this in front of the goddamn camera. Mike's PPR chart. You can see it like from July of 2023 to June of 2013, 2025. Yeah. He goes up from
I was like just above a 4. I was like a 4.
To a 7, just under a 7. Like, that's insane growth in a very short amount of games. Like, yeah, you only have 300-something games under your belt. The only person I know that with fewer games with as close as good as a PPR is Andrew, my son. Andrew's got a very
ridiculous because your son doesn't play games. He just sits in the driveway and friggin' throws bags over and over again.
And then he doesn't do it for 9 months while he's at school, and then comes back in the summer and then he does it again. He's just very good at it, you know.
He's super good at it.
He is, but I think again, like number of games compared to your PPR, dude, it's amazing how good you got.
I'm kind of impressed with myself.
You should be. And it sucks because you're right. You would have. I don't know how it would have worked out because I'm trying to think. I came in 3rd for the league, but you would have gotten a good partner for that playoffs, and it would have been very interesting had you been healthy.
Yeah, because I missed the last week, so I don't know how well I would have, if that would have helped or hurt in my placement anyway.
Even if you had just shot what you shot all year, which was in the low 7s, you probably would have finished like 4th or 5th.
I can't believe how many 4-baggers I've hit too, and I was so upset because I was really in the rankings for having most 4-baggers for the season,
which would have gotten you your first payout award too if you'd hit it.
I'm never getting paid.
You're one of those people that was falling into the cracks. Listen, I hadn't gotten paid that whole season either until I got 2nd on the night or whatever. But you were just missing a few times.
Yeah.
You'll get there. It's like at this point now you're too good not to. It's going to hit. It's just a matter of when. But now you got to rehab your injury and all that shit. So
yeah, just throw lefty and hopefully get a good person.
We tried that at Nick's house the one night. It was fun. So
that was fun. I can't believe you almost hit a 4-bagger lefty. That was hilarious.
I was very happy about that, and drunk. I know. So yeah, just before, right after Mike's surgery. And he was trying to give it a go. He was trying to say, "Hey, can I?" As he 2-hands his beer. I know. He was trying to see if he could play cornhole for the championship week, because if he couldn't, then we had to basically have him bail, and it just changed the number of people playing in the playoffs. And it quickly became obvious with we played a kind of a pickup game in our buddy Nick's backyard that Mike was not going to be able to give it a go. He threw a couple of bags righty, looked very, very uncomfortable.
I was barely making it halfway across the damn yard.
And
it was so bad.
But it became a fun night. So then Mike was like, all right, fuck it, I'm just going to throw lefty tonight. And he threw very well lefty, actually. I mean,
Isn't
he threw.
Sad?
What?
My 2-handed sip.
Sad. It was a little. It was just listen, he's getting by, the poor bastard. He's got to,
I was doing it one-handed, but I was actually like shaking, so I'm like, I can't do that.
It's really it's like you got
like it's my neck basically because I'm trying to steady myself and like my head starts shaking from trying to.
Makes sense. By the way, this Pilsner gets better as I drink it.
It's
I don't know what it
very
is.
good.
Like, it's hard because you're transitioning from like we had the IPA before. I feel so bad. How about a straw?
I'm not drinking beer through a straw. What are you, nuts?
That would be the first.
God. I feel like we used to, like, that was like a thing in college or whatever. If you drink it through a straw, you get drunk quicker. And like,
yeah, well, I do kind of vaguely remember that. Do you really? I probably do, actually.
I don't know how true that is.
Well, do you drink
Isn't
it faster?
Like level of consumption, right? Like, so.
In theory, it should make no difference.
Level and rate. Rate of consumption and level of consumption.
Is there more like, does the oxygen that is going through your body as you're consuming it, does that dilute some of it in some way?
I remember one time though in college we dumbly thought, because we finished a those plastic jugs of like Utz pretzels.
Mm-hmm.
We finished one of those and we're like, what if we fill this up with beer and drink out of this?
That shit's like.
So we were like yeah, let's
2 gallons.
Let's do it. Yeah. So we cleaned it out. Poured the first beer in, poured the second beer in, poured the third beer in, and it was about that much.
Yep.
Like, oh my God. This is not happening.
No, that you probably needed 20 pints worth?
Maybe.
To fill that up.
If that. It was crazy. Like, there was just no way.
College.
Yeah. So we were like, all right, let's try 3 and we'll see if anybody could finish it type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hard to drink. It was hard to drink because you put it like, the opening is this big and you got like, now it's like flattening beer because you're pouring it from a can into the
yeah. It's going to lose some of its carbonation.
So now it's like, and you hold it up to your face, and you're just getting a waft of like flat beer smell in your, it's just.
And some stale pretzel smell on top of it too. Even you can wash it out, but that's.
It wasn't good.
But
bad idea, Jeans.
It's college. That's what you're supposed to do. in college.
Yeah, stupid things.
You have to.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like that's why it's like you think of like a beer ball and stuff like that, like that. Hi, bud.
You got to show it.
You snuck down here. What do you got? What do you got for me?
Look at this.
A new Dandy's World character.
A new Dandy's World character?
And here's the normal. And here's the twisted.
And here's the twisted?
And here's me.
And there you are.
And I said Cameron.
Yeah. Thank you. What's the name of this character? What do you think? What do you want to call him? You don't know? And you'll be back?
Yeah.
Oh, missed the high five. He's focused. He's focused.
Sorry.
Ironic Cameron has my name for me saying Cameron, so that's why.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do not love him. He's so adorable.
Oh, man. The good interruptions.
It's a great interruption, dude. He's such a cute kid.
He's just so excited. Dandy's World. That's the game of choice right now.
That's like the big one you've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
I have like thousands of new followers on TikTok just from playing that game.
Really?
Yeah.
It's wild.
I've hit subscription status on TikTok. People can actually pay to subscribe to me on TikTok now.
Really?
Yeah.
So now, what is the number that you? Well, you don't have to disclose that, but it's like there's a certain number you have to hit subscription status.
There's certain.
It's got to be in the thousands.
There's certain metrics or whatever. That's why I was kind of baffled when it became available to me, because typically, like, you look at it, if you go to set up a subscription, it says you're not eligible, and then you look at it and it says this is how you become eligible. And like the typical way of becoming eligible is, first off, is you have to have a certain amount of hours viewed on like videos, certain amount of videos posted, certain amount of hours live, that kind of a thing.
So just volume metrics.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then one of the other like key things was the amount of followers you had. And the first thing that they show you is that you need to have 10,000 followers. So I'm like, well, that's crazy, whatever. I just recently peaked the 3,000 mark.
Okay.
Okay, so what is that?
It's called XYHPN.
His name is Zippin. His name is Zippin.
No, his name is XYHPN.
I totally knew he was going to respond that way. That's his name.
That's what you call him? XYHPN?
It's not Ziffin.
It's XYHPN. This is all right, so everybody, Dandy's World. This is XYHPN. This is his twisted form. And there's Cameron right over here in the corner. Nice job, buddy.
Yeah, I made it just for you.
Thank you. I love it.
I don't know if you heard him. I made it just for you.
Yeah.
And Cameron has like a slight lisp, so it's extra cute. It's like, I made it just for you. It was like very, it was very cute. Now he's telling Nikki about it. Guess what? I gave Dad the picture, and Dad got the name wrong. No, it's Ziffin. No, it's XYHPN. You asshole. That's kind of what he was like. There was no negotiating that name with him. But maybe, buddy, maybe it has like a certain pronunciation. No, it's XYHPN. Get it right.
It's all good.
Good kid. Very good drawing too, by the way. Considering like, how old is he? 4?
Yeah, he'll be 5 in August.
All right, that's still pretty. Like, there's no lines, but he's in the lines. You know what I mean? Like, it's very organized drawing right there.
He just made it up. He made it up. Thing's got a sword.
He's creative. Gets that from his father. He gets them from both of you guys, actually. You both are creative people. Some with scones, some with, you know.
Whatever it is I do.
Whatever it is you do. Yeah. Whatever we're into that month. Cornhole, podcasting, streaming. You're a jack of all trades. Yeah, music. We don't even talk about the band.
I finally started singing a little bit again, and I played the guitar a little bit. My arm was getting tired after that, but
yeah,
it was definitely hard for me, especially the singing part too, just because my throat's been swollen and everything.
Sure. Well, also, when was the last time you sang? Like, I mean, I know you do periodically,
well, I mean,
but
that's like, you know, I'll sing every once in a while, like down here, but nothing like crazy. I gotta like really get back into that though,
because I would imagine that takes some like vocal training to do
that.
that.
Absolutely,
you know.
It's just like, you know, your vocal cords are just like anything in your body, like any kind of muscle in your body. Basically, you have to exercise it.
And for those of you out there watching that don't know this, you should know this. Mike founded a band. Band was called Finding Four. They have an original album. We were just talking about this before. He should have it up on our old YouTube channel, which took us a hell of a long time to recover. My bad. We hadn't used it in 10 years.
It's been there. I mean, like, we watch it because, you know, Brian was posting our live shows and everything like that.
We usually had somebody helping us out in the crowd, taking video of every one of our songs, or we had like a tripod setup or something like that.
Yeah.
And we would take all the songs, cut them up, put them up on our YouTube channel, and that was our way of kind of like looking back at all of our shows and seeing our fans dancing and playing, you know, singing along or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, people grew up. Charlie moved. You guys had kids. Band was on hiatus for a little while. Yeah. But right to your, I don't know if it's in the shot or not, but right to your left is our Finding Four kit. And we are not that far away from being able to do
I know. I've been working. Well, it was kind of, it kind of coincided with getting the podcast going again too. It's just having the room down here, because this down here was, when we moved in, was filled with boxes of like baby clothes and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, as people were growing out of them, we're getting rid of them, and everything like that. So thankfully I was able to clean everything up, get the drum set up and everything, and then started, like, I installed speakers so that we could either play back or use them as our monitors for vocals and stuff like that. It's
like a little mini studio down here.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah,
like this part of the room, like you obviously have a living space down here.
Yep.
To our left, and then to our right, where we're doing the broadcast right now, is definitely a dedicated like podcast / studio that you can use for multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Because you got the monitors and stuff right there, and like we're ready to roll, man. We can record and stuff soon.
Yeah, that was the main purpose. Like, practice and record our stuff.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be able to do that. And it'll be done all soon enough. We'll start doing. I started doing experimental recordings and everything, because I bought. I don't know how happy I am with the microphones that I bought. Like I bought cheaper microphones for the drum kit and everything like that, and they work and everything. And it's probably just me and my engineering skills not being the greatest of. And trying to get the proper sound out of everything. But I tried recording a little bit of drums, just for like random purposes and stuff. And it wasn't sounding amazing, but it wasn't sounding terrible. So I feel like if I could tweak it and everything, but a lot of it is probably, I would probably need you for that kind of thing, because
you need to listen while somebody plays.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I need to tweak it while it's going on, so I can be like, this is where
It's like doing a sound check. You can't do a live sound check while you're playing.
Yeah,
you need somebody to sit there and just like literally hit the tom or whatever it is until it's the way you want it.
Yeah,
and you can't do that while you're playing, obviously. So I get it.
Kicked my desk by accident.
That is the one thing. So Mike and I we've experimented with a few different setups. We have our cameras in the slightly
different position. Yeah, if you notice,
today.
this is a different setup than even the original desk setup.
Yeah, or at least different positioning on the cameras. But like the way your camera's mounted is that if you inadvertently like stub your toe on the desk,
yeah, it's just,
shit looks like the '89 earthquake is hitting or whatever, and that you're about to fall down San Francisco or wherever the hell that shit was. No, there's no earthquake or anything like that. Mike just stubbed his toe on the desk.
Yep.
Are you ready for another beer?
Yeah, let's do the next one.
And that's my turn to do the rinsing. So
I got to handle all this again by myself.
By yourself. All by my... Little Eric Carmen. All right. I'm going to put this here.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, I almost...
Yeah. Oh, man. What's happening?
No, it's because I'm rolling over my headphones.
Yeah, I was going to see you're dragging everything along with you and stuff. Oh, you can push that door closed that's right there, too. That's like...
All right, hang on. Oh, my God. It's on the back wheel.
Oh, my gosh. Ruining your headphones.
Okay, no, it's fine. All right.
Here we go. Thank you, sir. All right. So, and it's funny too, because now we have the shot of the bathroom in the background, so you can see this is where we're going. Yeah. Oh boy. Oh man. So yeah. As we were discussing before, my little endeavors down here of trying to get ourselves set up, because I wanted to, I always wanted to have a little studio area for recording and stuff like that, because I used to record constantly in my parents' house. My parents had a nice big open basement, and they still do, and that's where we kept all of our musical equipment and everything. And that's where we used to practice when we were playing, because I never had enough space in my own house. But thankfully I do now. So now I can come down here. And when I was living at my parents' house, that was like the great thing about that is I wasn't even in a band, because back in like high school and into college and stuff, I wasn't really in a band. I had a couple of bands here and there, but nothing really, really steady. But I was always writing, and I was always trying to record, and I would record my own stuff. But the great thing of having access to your instruments and recording apparatus in your own home was the ability to just go down whenever you wanted to and record. And I would record a lot. And that's actually how I was writing. I was writing a lot just because I was able to go downstairs and just put whatever I had in my mind on some kind of tape or whatever it was, and be able to work through my songs that way. So now I've kind of tried to set it up here so I could do the same thing and just come down and record whenever I can. But now being part of the band, I need, and Brian having taken on the role of the drummer,
Key point there being the role of the drummer. I'm not a real drummer. I just play one.
No, it's just that's
that's definitely the truth.
You are the drummer, and
I am your Spartacus.
But you've never done any kind of recording.
Never.
So this would be a first for you to do this, which is fine because I want you to. I want to be able to do this with you because you need to get that feel of, because when you do it live, especially Brian, good for him too because he was never a performer or anything like that. I mean, obviously you had the chops to be able to stand in front of a crowd and stuff. You do this, you did this and the webcast and everything like that. So it's not that you didn't understand the idea of performing or anything like that, but all of a sudden you're doing something that you've never done before and doing it in front of people. That's nerve-wracking.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Every show, even when I got more comfortable, you're still like shitting your pants as if it's the first time you're doing it.
Yeah.
And
because I said, I tried to explain to him the first, my brother and I, both of us, we were explaining to him, when you're out on stage, you hear every mistake that you make, but the audience generally doesn't.
Right.
For the most part.
Yeah, there are very few egregious ones. It's usually just like if you're a touch fast or maybe you miss a roll or something like that. Like most of those things are not picked up on.
You scrutinize yourself a lot more than the audience does when you're playing.
They're there to just sing along and have a good time.
So, Brian was getting used to that kind of a thing where he would have to get it together and hopefully not screw it up type of those are the types of things that are going through your head, especially like certain songs, you're like, oh, every time we practice this I know I screw up this one part every time and I just I gotta focus. What's cool about recording and stuff like that is that this is where you work on it and you can screw it up and be like, and listen back to it right away and be like, all right, I got to fix that right there, and then just redo it.
Yeah.
You haven't had that experience yet, so it's like I'm excited to get into that, that area where we start, you hear how it comes together in a studio, of you don't even hearing it back live. Do you appreciate how well you did? When you listen to it live?
I mean, I still know where my mistakes are, but I realize that they weren't as bad as they were in the moment.
Yeah.
And I actually, what I'm really proud of is there are some ones that I'm like, I actually mostly nailed that one.
Yeah.
At least the mistakes I made, they were not big mistakes, and I was like, yeah, I can. And people were having a good time and jamming out to that. I got off on that a little bit.
And I tell you, you'll get. It'll be such a cool feeling for you to hear a studio recording version of yourself when you're playing and you hear it back, and it's like you hear it as a whole, radio style type of thing where you're gonna be like, holy cow, I can't believe it was me. That's.
I'm gonna need a metronome.
Yeah.
Because I know I was
be there.
I know my biggest flaw, besides technical stuff, just technique and just missing stuff, was I had a tendency to rush some stuff, and I'd be like, yeah, I was fast on that one.
Sometimes.
But
sometimes you would play things super slow because you were scared of going fast.
Yeah, that too. It was I just could not find the right beat. There are ones that I nailed though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
There are two ones specifically that I look back on and I'm like, yeah, I got that one right. One of them was your wedding, thank God.
That was great.
I look back at your wedding, and I kind of needed to be good there because Charlie was having some bass problems, if I recall.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't working.
No.
So
because the band didn't have a bass player.
Right. So when he was plugged in, there was nothing coming out for half the shit.
They had never used an actual bass guitar.
Right.
Their bass player was their keyboardist. He would play the bass on the keyboard.
Right. And so I see them all scrambling around like something's not working, and I'm like, and Charlie was always the guy that cued me in for certain stuff. So I could not afford to fuck that up. And I listened back to that performance, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't do that one that bad. I was actually pretty on time.
That was good.
That was the biggest crowd we'd ever played in front of.
And then she farted in my face.
You have to just say what Cameron's. You have to.
Excuse me.
Cameron's providing a lot of
The
content.
joys. Oh my gosh, the joys of being a parent. Oh my goodness.
So
I didn't even. Oh, you turned your light off.
Oh no. Oh, am I unplugged? Oh, there we go.
I think you have to hold it down. I think.
Oh, there we go. Okay. So Cameron,
I don't even know what was the first part. I just know that someone bent over and farted in his face.
It's the part I heard too. I think it's one of the girls, obviously.
Yeah. It definitely wasn't Nikki. I can tell you that much.
No, it's not Nikki's thing to go blasting ass in her son's face. But it's the way he said it. It's, the Cameron delivery.
It's very, very, just matter of fact. Like, he just wanted to spread the news. Like, I don't even know if he was, he wasn't coming down here upset, you need to get her, I'm going to get her in trouble. It was just kind of like, guess what happened?
Right. FYI. While you're down here podcasting, somebody farted in my face. It was...
Cameron. All right, guys, can you take it upstairs, please? Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Okay, now we're getting carried away. Nikki. And this is why we usually do this podcast at night when the kids are asleep.
That is the one drawback to doing it at 5 p.m. We've also talked about a few times we're dragging it over to my home.
Yeah.
Which we will eventually.
We will.
This
is more on the lines of my fault just because of Brian's accommodating me with my surgery. But we're also transitioning over to Barrier afterwards, which is closer to me today.
Yeah, as you've said, you're an invalid right now, so we have to make some accommodations. So
God.
it's fine. Barrier's like 2 seconds from the house here, so it made sense to do this one here. But when we, maybe we'll do another one that's closer to my place, and then we'll end up doing my house for the podcast. So it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all part of the experience. What are we moving on to from a beer standpoint?
All right,
here?
so this is Try the Juice. Try the Juice.
The juice is loose. Oh, my bad. I gotta wait.
I
didn't do it.
All right. This is a lot smaller description than the last one.
Yeah, I didn't look for any of the porno music. Let me see if there's any license before you start describing it.
This is a very short description, actually.
Porno music license
free.
Let's see.
I'll do it in my best Cleveland voice, maybe. Get the nice. There you go. Barrier. Try the juice. This soft, pillowy mouthfeel with... Wow. Just the beginning. Just the beginning was like, whoa, what are we talking about here? Soft, pillowy mouthfeel with waves of tropical oranges, mangoes, and melons. That's right, juicy melons. Combined with just a touch of darkness.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I don't think that'll get flagged, but we'll find out.
That's a hazy pale ale, 5.2% ABV.
That's pretty low for an IPA. Okay. Try
New England style pale ale.
Didn't realize there was style.
Yeah.
All right.
This is, look at this pink. It's very, very pink.
This is it is sort of like that 70s porn.
It kind of is.
We got a little Boogie Nights thing going on here. Little Dirk Diggler action here as we pop this bad boy open.
Let's say it. Ready?
Fuck it. I don't have nails. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, go. We timed that out perfectly. Okay. I clip my nails so I have nothing to latch onto. We also have technically what time are we leaving for the show?
Well, I think you said he starts in an hour.
Yeah, they'll never be on at 8 on the head. I think 8:15 is reasonable, so we probably have to we could just nurse this one and not have the last one, or try to knock out 2 beers in 45 minutes.
Let's try to knock out 2 beers in 45 minutes.
Oh, that's gonna be
fun.
Oh no!
No!
I wish I had my Joe Ballin soundboard on me. Oh, motherfucker. I hope Joe, I don't know if he's listening. Joe is one of the guys from our Cornhole League. If you do not follow him on TikTok, Joe has 500,000 followers on TikTok. Something like that. I don't know. He has met the Haktua girl. He's met her? Yes. I don't know, at some signing or something like that. I think he went out of his way to meet her. It wasn't like Joe, organically met her.
She came across his.
You want to collab? I don't think it was like that. Joe's just an interesting character, but he's a character. He's a great person. He's fun to be around. He's become a lot better at cornhole. Yeah, he can go off the rails once in a while, Joe, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have Joe in my life than not have him in my life. So, world record Joe Ballin, I believe, is his handle on TikTok. He's in our Cornhole League. 500,000 TikTok followers. Follow him. I promise you, you will be entertained. Oh, Mike's breaking the seal. I thought he was just putting the paper away, but no, he's. This is where I kind of wish we had wireless microphones. So if Mike was in the bathroom, he could do a Naked Gun thing, where if anybody's ever seen Naked Gun, they're doing the press conference and Frank Drebin's taking a leak. And you hear him, and he starts you hear the piss coming out, and then you hear him singing, "Oh, ho, whoops!" He's just pissing all over the floor. One of my favorite movies. By the way, they are rebooting The Naked Gun, which, Mike just kind of gave an "oh my god" in the bathroom. It's either going to be great or it's going to be awful, because these reboots are always hit or miss. And I have a lot of faith in Seth MacFarlane and Liam Neeson, who I think is actually a very underrated comedic actor. But the Naked Gun movies were so good as they were. To redo them is a big risk. Because if you don't get it right, everybody's going to be like, this sucked. The original Naked Guns were so much better. I don't know. It's almost like redoing Airplane or any of those History of the World, the old Mel Brooks movies. You're going to redo those movies, you better get it right, because those were legendary movies.
So it wasn't. First off, Liam Neeson is playing the lead, which is a little weird in and of itself.
But did you see him in the Ted movies, or the second Ted or whatever?
Yeah, where he's in the
supermarket.
Yeah,
and these tricks.
Yeah, because he's playing his Taken personality, which is become his thing all of a sudden, and it's fine.
Liam Neeson plays Liam Neeson now.
Yeah, exactly. But did you see the teaser for that?
I did.
The one that was semi-funny about it was they're all looking at portraits of their parents, and it's they look at Leslie Nielsen, then I can't remember his partner's name, who's
I remember the actor Earnhardt or something like that was his name, but I don't remember the actual partner's
And then
name.
it comes to OJ's kid, and it's just because they're all reminiscing about how great their parents were, and then they look at the photo of OJ, and then his son just kind of looked at the camera and was like, nope, not doing it.
Yep. That was the best part of the trailer.
That was definitely the best part.
The other one, too, which was, more in line with the slapstick nature of what Naked Gun was. I think there's a scene where, Pam Anderson is cleaning the oven or something like that.
Oh,
and some guy is looking at it through, an infrared camera, but it looks like she's, watch the trailer if you don't know what I'm talking about. So, it looks like it has potential.
I think is the Naked Gun the Zucker brothers or whatever Zuckermans?
Yes, I think it was
Zuckermans.
Zuckerberg. I keep getting him because Mark Zuckerberg ruined that for me.
Yeah, no.
I think
it's
it's
Zucker
Zuckerman
or Zuckerman
or Zucker.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think it might be Zucker. I can't remember.
But
it's them, right? That's
the Danny and something or whatever.
They always have their mother in cameos and stuff like that.
But I think Seth MacFarlane has a hand in this one.
Yeah, okay.
Which is why Liam Neeson is in it because of his affiliation with Ted. So.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
And A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Which is such an underrated movie.
The movie's great.
That is a hysterical movie.
That movie's great.
One of, not a lot of people saw it.
No. Because it's it's a terrible movie. If you're looking at it from a standpoint of Oscar-worthy things, it's not making it anywhere close to that.
No, but it's a throwback to
but
those
the movie's
old school.
But it's hilarious. because it's one of those. He did a good job of bringing to light, like, of how dangerous the old West could actually be. It wasn't just cowboys and Indians type of thing. Like, there's just so many things that you have to worry about, and that's his character was just a paranoid person because he was scared of dying in terrible ways that you could die back then.
Right.
And it really was a funny movie. Just really
It was sort of like, I'm trying to think, kind of like Three Amigos meets History of the World-ish, I guess, because it had the raunchiness of History of the World, and it had some of the silliness of Three Amigos. Like, it definitely poked fun at the Western style. And if you like Seth MacFarlane stuff, it was right up his alley. It had musical elements to it. It is vintage Seth MacFarlane. So if you're a Family Guy, a Ted person, you're gonna mostly like the humor in the movie.
Yeah.
So
no, it was definitely a funny movie. I enjoyed it.
Did you take a sip of this beer yet? This is your first sip?
No, this is gonna be my first sip.
Okay, I'm curious what you think. It's another good one, I think, from an IPA standpoint. Right? Like, very flavorful. I think the money was...
I'm like, what am I getting from this? There's a specific...
It's a little less citrusy than the money one.
Mm-hmm.
You have a very good, like, when you swallow... I'm fucked. As soon as I said it, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, you ever catch yourself like that? I did it with Jeff last time. What was that stupid line I said with Jeff?
Did you ever catch yourself swallowing when you didn't want to?
Knew it right away. Like, he's grabbing that. That's going to be in the next trailer for our episode 8 or whatever the hell it is. You ever swallow? Ah, shit. I knew it right there.
But you also pointed it out to me. As
I know, because I knew.
Just like when you swallow.
Because I knew in the moment, I'm like, oh, I'm done. When you gulp. Because I have to correct myself now.
Oh, God.
You have it hits the mic. So you actually get a great sound effect out of it when you consume your beer. Yeah, it has like I'm not helping myself right now. I should really just walk away. Yep.
Oh man!
Imagine we find out we got on a barrier in like half hour, 45 minutes, and they have this up on some big screen there.
That concludes this episode.
During like that art gallery or whatever the hell's going on.
That's the guy that swallows.
That's him. It's Enrico Palazzo. Same kind of vibe, except with dicks. Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck my life. You mean like Dick Palazzo?
That's it. It's me, Dickie Palazzo. Wearing this goddamn shirt, too, of all things, to be walking in. Like, I'm not going to stand out wearing this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Christ. All right. Anyway, back to the beer. It's good. I don't know what is in it either. I'm not sure. I know
it's very good.
I was doing the porno thing when you were...
I know. It was hard for me to pay attention because of the porn. Soft, pillowy mouthfeel. All right, tropical oranges, mango. So it does have like the fruit. It's talking about fruits: oranges, mangoes, and melons.
Sorry, that's my bad. No, I can't. Now
It's just
my brain is not
messed everything up.
Yep.
On this one. Excuse me.
We would really benefit from Ashley being here for this part of it too.
Absolutely. Man,
I appreciated how inappropriate she was.
Oh,
I knew
she was.
I knew she was, and she said going in,
yeah,
big black Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah,
we knew that she was going to be, she was going to go there. But I didn't know to the depths of which, like I thought I had a problem.
She handled herself very well.
She did.
Yeah,
it's a tough environment. And she was a great first female guest.
Absolutely.
So definitely have to have. I don't know if we should have her and Nick on again at the same time.
Oh man, I feel like Nick would just have his head in his hand like
the whole time.
Yeah, just
because all that would have to happen would be for Ashley to make one comment that didn't quite sit well with Nick.
Right.
Nick would be quiet the rest of the show and just be giving us eyes like, wrap this shit up. Yeah. And I don't know if you know anything about Nick, but he's a rather big man in terms of his muscles. Like,
we talked about it.
Oh yeah, he's not shy about telling you about what he lifts and stuff like that.
We talked about it.
So I don't want to piss Nick off. I don't.
No, he'll be all right.
We should think about our next.
We gotta figure all that out and everything.
Next guest. Who's our next guest host when we do that? That's
I don't know.
It's a big responsibility.
Like I said, this is back to basics on this one. Like we haven't done just the two of us. Just the two of us. I guess in 3 episodes now.
Yeah, because
that's like 3 months.
The brewery ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen. The credit to us. I think we're talented people, but we also have very talented friends.
Yeah.
Who we want to get involved in this. So part of it is us wanting to just, for the sake of some just different vibes, having different people on, but also getting our friends involved because we have really funny people that we know.
That was the purpose of your webcast from the very beginning, was to just have friends involved and shooting the shit.
I was primarily a board op and just kind of like steered the ship. Like I would make my jokes here and there when I felt I could, but I knew I had gold in people like Rob.
Yeah,
who was like that dry humor. I knew you were talented, and I knew everybody that I had on had a role, and I loved it. I was like, this is like, it was like a cast of characters. Like this is like my personal Seinfeld.
Yeah,
my friends are a Seinfeld episode, and I wanted to just put that on display.
It definitely can be.
It's awesome though. It's awesome. I mean, I feel like our group chats sometimes are.
Oh yeah.
Some of it you can't obviously repeat.
No,
because
definitely not.
I don't want to get arrested, but then there's part of it that's hysterical stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely have some good laughs with our group of friends.
That both the friends and the cornhole chat, I think, are.
Yeah, the cornhole chat can get a little off the rails at moments.
I mean, I could throw a word out there right now, and it could. No. Well, we could tell the story because it technically was on our podcast, I believe, where this came up. Correct? Where this started was on a Drinking Buddies episode at South Shore Craft Brewery. You and Muffin were behind the mic.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it.
But it's like, yeah, I guess it's become a staple.
Oh yeah, it's my go-to to get the conversation going in our group chats. During the Drinking Buddies podcast was lucky enough to broadcast, I believe it was St. Patrick's Day. Was this one? Or maybe no, I'm sorry, it was the finals.
It was the finals.
Season 1 finals. So Drinking Buddies was the one streaming the games and stuff like that. I was playing with my partner Ozzy. Ozzy is Joe, the guy I was talking about before. It's his father. And Ozzy's bags were sort of around the hole. And Muffin said something about, Ozzy's bags rimming the hole. It's like a rim job around the hole. And then Mike just, like in like a very disgusted moment, just goes, it's wonderful. It's one I hear about Ozzy giving rim jobs. So I grabbed that piece of audio and I shared it with all of our friends in the cornhole chat. Mike just being like, and Mike was really like, he was like, dude, what are you doing? It was like he didn't want to hear this, didn't want to have the thought of Ozzy giving a rim job in his head.
It was one of those obvious things that are there, but like, let's not just.
It turned a very normal like cornhole broadcast into a sophomoric moment, like in terms of humor.
Yes.
Like you guys were being very straight at the time, like calling the game like you're Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, and then in comes Muffin with the rim jobs. But I found it hysterical the way you responded to it. So then I dropped that comment into the cornhole chat, and then our good friend Barbara, God bless her virgin ears,
oh my God,
turns around and goes, "What's a rim job?"
So. You also have to understand, because so Barbara is also hearing impaired. So obviously, you talk through text and everything like that, but she communicates mostly through sign language and reading. She read lips, and she could speak
You can have a very normal conversation.
Yeah, you can
Barbara.
speak
She
with her
knows.
and everything.
Yeah.
She reads your lips and she could speak back to you. But obviously, her majority of her language is in sign language. So then it became a whole thing of like, is there a sign for rim job? You know, and it was like, what do you call a rim job in sign language? And then she was like having like, she didn't understand what it was. But then when she figured out what it was, that's not how they sign it or something like that. Or it's like, it's just not considered rim job in sign language.
Correct. There is a very unique sign for rim job. Once she understood what it was, I believe Fiona shared her version of the sign language, which was basically a tongue licking an orange or something like that. It was amazing. It was funny because like the freaks came out.
I feel like this conversation lasted like 3 days.
Oh my God. People that hadn't chimed in on that chat ever, all of a sudden sprung up. You know what I mean? As if we had fertilized the chat a little bit. It's like, did somebody say rim job? We didn't even know. Oh, Rob, you're here. I didn't even know you were in this chat. Good to hear from you. People just, the authenticity of that moment. It was really funny. It was hysterical. It was an authentic moment. Your response to Muffin was authentic, and then the innocence of Barbara not knowing and us kind of explaining it to her in our very, very juvenile way made for 3 great days of comedy.
It's funny too because of the because you know when you're doing these podcasts and everything like that, it's not like there's not like a laugh track or anything like that. So you're just watching it and you just kind of picked up because I said it, but then we just move on.
Right.
It's I say it, but then we're moving on because we're still watching the games and stuff like that. So it's just funny because you picked up on it and you were just like, this is probably one of my favorite moments of the night.
But everybody, clearly I wasn't alone because everybody watched that same moment. I'm like, yep, I can see why Brian picked up on that. Because it's the way you said it, dude. It wasn't just the fact you had this look of disgust on your face. It wasn't, it's wonderful. It's what I wanted to hear. Ozzy giving shop. You just said it so dry and so like dismissive of Muffin. It just ruined. Like in your mind, Muffin had ruined the whole thing. You guys were on a roll.
Why are we saying this?
Right.
Like it just came out of nowhere.
It was totally unnecessary. But Muffin just at some point, some sort of thing kicked in and some Neanderthal instinct. I want to talk about rim jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Kellenberg mindset. Just,
That's it.
You always have these thoughts in the back of your head, and you're like, finally, I can get this out.
Yeah. That's why Muffin and I had the team one heart, one mind, and one whole.
One whole.
That was our team. So it is kind of a full circle moment for Muffin. And then the funny thing, too, that same night was the night we made you into a GIF where after...
Which one?
That was when Sharon airmailed me.
Oh, yeah.
So... but it was
my jazz hands.
Yes, but it was such a authentic moment. So
I mean, that was amazing.
I'm still not over it.
It was absolutely amazing.
I had the game locked up. It was me 4-1, me and Ozzy on the round. If Sharon does not hit an airmail, which for those of you who don't know cornhole,
that was the only thing she could have done to salvage the game.
Right, and I think Sharon would admit this. She was not shooting great up until that point.
No, she wasn't.
She had missed two off the board, and she had one on. So, in my mind, it's like, I just got to block up the hole, and I got this thing won. Because I don't see her possibly hitting an airmail. Well, so an airmail is a bag going into the hole, clean. So you have to throw it.
It's like a swish.
It's a swish, right. But to do it in an airmail, in cornhole, is very, very difficult, especially when you're not playing particularly well.
Yeah.
Sharon, in the most difficult moment, in the most insane spot you can ever hit an airmail to tie the round up at 4, and then we ended up losing. So... Mike, watching this live in the broadcast booth, is waiting for the table, whatever. Kind of goes. Sharon makes her airmail, and he goes, "She hits it to keep the game alive." Mike had this it was Noah calls it jazz hands, but it was a very innocent, just authentic reaction because it was improbable. At that
it was
point,
unbelievable.
You heard the eruption in the other room when it happened, too. It was wild. It was wild being in there.
It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It sucks being on the other side of it, but
you know what, though?
But that's what's great about our league is that we just, all of us appreciate each other doing well.
Absolutely. And if I was going to lose to somebody, Sharon, I can lose to Sharon. there are assholes out there. You're like, oh, I hate losing to that asshole.
Yeah.
But we don't really have them in our league. So when somebody in our league makes a shot like that, yeah, it sucks to be on the losing end of it, but you appreciate that they did it.
Yeah.
And I guess I gave her a big hug at the end of it. I was like, I'm very proud of you.
That was amazing that she was able to pull that out, because it was like game over basically.
That's it. She doesn't get it in, it's over. She had to get it in the hole and not take one of my bags with her.
Yeah.
And she did it. So hats off to her. I just did not see it coming. I really thought I had it. I had my arms crossed like, this is it. Me and Ozzy are going to go get Red Lobster tonight or whatever, and we go in Sizzler. And nope, she hit it, and all of a sudden my heart sank because I'm like, we're done.
I can't believe it.
It was a tough moment.
That was. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's all right.
It was amazing to watch it from the outside.
Maybe that's why I was so focused on the rim job thing, because I took the L. I was like, I got to find a good moment from this night, because that other moment does not sit well with me. And I've come up short twice, and I got these fucking trophies at home. So I did the same thing in season 2. I keep getting to the freaking finals and losing, and this one was less heartbreaking. We just literally got our ass kicked by Barbara and Joe. But I'll get there. I'm on the precipice. I feel good that I'm just
one
there.
day I'll get there too.
You're definitely gonna get there. You're playing too well not to.
I can't, man. It's so upsetting. I said we talked about this before. Like, when you're like, we play with some really good players and everything like that. And when you join the tournaments and stuff, you're playing with very, very good players from like in the area, all across Long Island, whatever tournament it is. Depending on what tournament it is, and for the most part, our group of friends are like, when we go into the playoff brackets, are on the lower half of, if you're in the top bracket, you're in like the lower half of it, because you have those guys who are throwing 10s and stuff like that. Not all, some of us are still up there in the upper half, whatever. So you're hoping to get paired with someone who's very good. Like, that's the way you're looking at it when you're going into those tournaments. You're like, I really hope the way I'm throwing, I'll be good enough to get paired with somebody who can help, carry me, and we can win. Right. And I just, like, I'm throwing well enough that now I'm in the top section, half of that group, where I'm the one supposed to be carrying, quote unquote, carrying whoever is my partner.
Right. Which
is tough on me, because I've never looked at myself as that kind of a cornhole player.
Yeah, but I will say you are there. Like, statistically you're there, and I've watched you play enough to know that you were hitting.
I've had some really good games and really good nights and stuff like that, and then just one bad game that sucks. But
I was gonna say, that's really where you're at right now. Is you're probably somebody who's shooting in the high 7s, low 8s for most of the night, and like I have it too. You'll have that one game that drags you down to like the low 7s, where you like shoot like a 6 or a 5 something. Yeah. And you're like, son of a bitch. But like, the fact that you're in that position tells you that most of your games are good, and you're making advanced level shots. You're pushing bags.
Yeah, that's
throwing
the thing too.
mails.
And it's nice, because when I want to be able to push those shots too, to be like, I'm going to take a chance on this. Like, if I'm never going to learn if I don't try it,
Yep.
Like, if I miss it, it's like I tried, and it sucks that I fucked it up, but I'd rather have tried to like get that nice shot, like when it's available. Like, if you're trying to pull a miracle out of your ass, like, there's no point.
Right.
But like, when you have those attempted shots where it's like, I can either just be safe and lay up on the front and maybe get a point, or I can drag and maybe grab 4 points or something like that, or or hit the airmail, and it's like one of those things, and it's like, I'd rather try that out and see if I can make those shots than just
Yeah, you're right. You're never going to learn if you don't try it. And that was something Noah told me a long time ago that I took to heart, which is, it's cornhole. Like, at the end of the day, take the risk, because you're gonna regret laying up and playing it safe versus trying to go ahead and make that shot that puts it out of reach. Or like that night I played with Ozzy against him, I was like, you know what? I took a couple of risks. I threw airmails. I don't normally throw airmails, but I was like, if I'm going to hang in this game, I'm going to have to make some shots that I don't normally make.
Yeah.
So I took some risks. And for the most part, other than the goddamn Sharon airmail that bit me in the ass, it paid off. So, it's fun. Like, I love the fact that we're all sort of in the same spot right now, where like we're playing we're all playing up from where we originally were.
Yeah.
And I think on any given night, we all have a shot to finish in the money.
Yeah, I think so.
Whether it's playing on our own league or other tournament or whatever, I feel like we all have a shot.
Yeah.
Which is so much fun. So.
That's good.
Oh, no. Are we in trouble? 10. 15. 15. Well, we'll be done by 8. I promise. I got it,
What's
Mom.
the problem?
No, I just said people are coming at 8 to meet us here so we get an Uber.
All right.
You mean from down the block?
Yes.
Well, she's giving us the rip torn. Wrap it up. We got it. Don't worry. We have one more beer to have. We're gonna do it. We knew we have. I have the clock here. We'll be able to get through the beer, and we'll be wrapping up starting around 7:55, heading into 8 o'clock.
It's not like we're not going out.
I know, but I want to go.
My Lord.
Yeah, but we do have a formula. We needed a coffin. No, we'll be done. We'll be done in time for the Uber. I promise you. I will not let you down. I did finish my
I feel
scone.
like I can't guilt Mike, but I feel like I might be able to guilt Brian.
Only a little bit.
Wow.
A little bit, which is why I'm saying.
To me. You don't like me anymore. You might still.
I'm sorry, what? My wife just said I don't like her anymore.
We all love you. And the scones. We will definitely be done by 8 o'clock in time for this Uber.
I don't like you now after saying that.
Oh, they got the thumb tap on the staircase. Look at that. She's like.
What's the matter?
We're almost done. The longer you lurk, the less closer I am to getting this beer. So just FYI, I have to grab this last one so we can get through this.
This is extending the show.
No, I know. Well done. I'll grab the beer. We'll finish this up, and then we'll be upstairs and ready to go with the Russos. All right. I'm grabbing it.
Holy Moses.
All right. Well, you're still...
We're being forced. All right, no,
I'll take them out just so they're ready.
I gotta down this now.
It's an IPA, too, so it's a little...
Yeah.
And then you got to go out and have more.
No, I have to.
You don't have work tomorrow. You're off tomorrow, right? So you're...
Yeah, it's Sunday. Yeah. No, I'm not in a 24/7 building anymore. Well, first off, I'm on disability, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh, right. I forgot you're out.
Yeah.
All right. What, do you have a timetable on your return?
I go see the doctor on Monday. I don't, we were hoping that by the end of the month, I'd be able to get back, but, I don't think I'll be able, like I said, I can't.
You don't look like you can.
I can't lift my arm. I still have some pain in my necks, my neck, when I make certain moves and stuff like that. And then I still don't have full movement in my arm. Forget strength. I just don't have full movement in my arm yet, which sucks. That's the other thing that sucks too. Going on disability is some people that's the way they operate. You know, they're like, I go on disability. I just get a disability check and then blah 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 blah. It really sucks, especially from. Excuse me, from my standpoint. I don't know, not everybody has the same exact experience, but I'm sure they have similar experiences. So I'm not, because I'm in a union, the way my company words disability, they're saying that if you have some kind of a contract with an arbitrator or whatever, or some kind of union contract, basically, that and the verbiage conflicts with their verbiage as far as disability goes, then you have to default to your contracts with the other party, so the union contract, basically.
Right.
Now, what's weird is that I looked through it, and it's such an arbitrary term to say that it conflicts, because my contract doesn't really say, anything about whether or not you can be covered under your company's disability fund, because major corporations and everything have their own disability fund that they pay into, that you pay into, basically. If you're an employee, you pay into the disability fund through your paycheck and stuff like that, so that if you ever, God forbid, had to go on disability, the company can pay you a portion of your paycheck.
Okay.
So it's like they pay you maybe 65% of your paycheck or 70% of your paycheck or whatever it is, but at least you're getting something, right? And it's a portion of your pay. Regardless of what it is, it's a portion of your pay. So because I'm in a union, my company doesn't cover me under their own disability. So I'm only covered under New York State disability. New York State disability says that you can get paid up to like 50% of your paycheck or $170 a week, whichever is the lesser.
Okay. Oof.
So I'm getting paid $170 a week from the state for my disability before tax.
Before tax?
Yep.
So like $100. I mean, like 120, whatever.
Basically.
I mean, I've won more in cornhole than last
Yeah.
month. I'm sorry. It's like fucking terrible.
It's terrible. So then it's like my union covers me a little bit too, which is okay, but it's only like $100.
So 2 and change, and you know, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So
it's and you base your life like on your paycheck.
Sure.
On like my mortgage and all that kind of stuff, and where you can afford to live and what you can afford to buy and stuff like that is based off of your income. And now my income has basically been cut to like 1/8 of what I get paid.
You know what you're advocating for right now? Socialized medicine.
Well, I don't like. It's just a matter.
I mean,
of,
I'm just saying that is the one benefit to it.
It's just weird because it's like it's not even so like it's just New York State benefits is terrible.
Yeah.
Are absolutely terrible. And if I was covered under my company, I'd be okay. Like I'd still be a little struggling, yeah, but I'd be getting something.
Yeah.
But now I'm like barely getting anything.
So you almost have to go back sooner than you want to go
yeah,
back.
And it's like I don't want to be out.
Yeah.
I want to get back to work, but I just can't. Like the problem is that I don't want to put my chief or my building managers in some kind of liability situation because of the work that I do. I don't want to wind up hurting myself or doing something stupid because I wasn't ready to go back to work.
I was going to say you have a very physical component to your job. You can't show up to work and not be able to move.
Correct.
The limbs that
like
we're
if I was
talking about.
if it was a desk job, I'd be back already. I'd be like I can work through this. I can just have just got to use the keyboard and the mouse and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Answer the phones or whatever it is. But I don't do that. That's not my job. My job is very physical.
Yeah.
So
That
it
sucks.
sucks.
That's bullshit too.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of your job, that is bullshit. But,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I you obviously shouldn't rush back because it's not smart.
That's what I'm saying. Like I want to rush. I want to rush back. I want to get back as fast as I can.
Yeah, but you're at risk of prolonging your existing injury or whatever you want to call it.
And I said, like, I don't want to put, like, and I appreciate, like, my chief is awesome, and I don't want to put him in a situation of being like, all right, I advocated for you coming back, and you, like, what just happened?
Right. And anybody who takes a look at you can see just by watching you drink, watching you move, even just the physical act of you moving from place to place.
Yeah.
You can tell you're not completely comfortable on that side of your body.
Right.
Just walking.
I can't fully turn my head left and right yet.
Right. Like that's
that kind of a thing.
You can't operate in the kind of job you have in that condition.
It sucks.
So, it does suck. The good news is you can still podcast.
I can. Which is why I've been streaming like every day, because I can.
Yeah, well, but obviously we have today's show is going to be in the can in about 5-10 minutes, but we should try to do this again before it becomes like
No, we'll definitely be getting this. We've always talked about how we wanted to do it maybe twice a month and stuff like that. We just got to get we got a better feel for our schedules and stuff like that. And right now my schedule is haphazard just because of the disability thing. Like I'm available more often than I wasn't, but now we're also getting into the summer months.
Right.
Summer months for my family means beach time and stuff like that on the weekends. So
yep, and vacations and all that stuff too. I go away in middle of July. It's never perfect, but maybe we can squeeze one in before. I know we go away. We go away July 21st to the 20th. Well, we technically have the 19th. So July 19th to the 26th is when we're away. So that week. But maybe we could do something before then. Whether it's the week after 4th of July, whether it's 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, let's figure something out.
I can't wait. And we got to figure out a brewery too, because we're
not running out of breweries.
We're definitely not. There's Bronx Brewery. I was looking at that today. So
Oh yeah. There's Bronx. even even if we were to do some, well, yeah, I don't want because they've become a little more commercial, like the Brooklyn stuff, and
I would say Blue Point too. Same thing. That they're so big now. They don't need our help.
I'm sure Beer and Co could totally push us in directions and stuff like that.
Oh, totally. So I was just gonna say where I normally buy our beer from is Beer and Co in Wantagh. If you need a local beer, Beer and Co in Wantagh has it. Beer and Co is they are sort of like our unofficial sponsor. Like they don't actually sponsor us, but I buy all the beer there. I mention their name every single episode. It's my local brewery. Their primary, unlike other beer distributors, their thing is locally brewed beer and specifically canned beer that you can get from all the local brewers.
Did they sponsor a board?
They did.
They did.
They did sponsor. They bought us a set of boards for the Cornhole League. And so they are one of our official sponsors.
Really awesome. Yeah, for South Shore Baggers, yeah.
Yep. And we're talking about possibly doing a cornhole
But at the same
event
time, they know that we do this show because Brian goes and, and talks to them and says, what we're doing and stuff like that. So
I had a whole conversation last time with the one of the bartenders from Sand City.
Yep.
She was there doing a tasting, and I gave her a whole backstory and all that. So all the local people are awesome, and I've yet to speak to one of the local brewers and not had a positive experience with them. So
even though they're not like an official sponsor of the Drinking Buddies show, we appreciate everything. Like they're supplying the beer for us from for the local breweries and everything like that. The only one that they haven't supplied for us was Lunchbox because we got them directly from.
And I think once they start canning their beer, I'm sure they'll be in store.
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna say because they haven't officially started selling them out to stores like that, like Beer and Co.
In the interest of time, we have 6 minutes left. Do you want to slam this fucker home?
Oh my god!
Now, or do you want me to just take one for the team and just do it myself?
What do you mean? Oh, I'm almost done here. So,
all right, well, fine. Hurry up then. Let's get this. We got 5 minutes left. Hanging around.
First off,
take this beer.
We're not on a hard timer.
Well, I listened. I saw the face I got from Nikki. I think we're on
we gotta rinse this out though.
You want to rinse this one?
Yes.
Oh boy. All right. Do you want me to do the rinsing since you're incapacitated?
I am. I'm an invalid.
All right. Hang on. I wanted to save the minute, but all right. I'm gonna take the glasses.
No, we're not saving any minutes. We're doing this right.
Okay.
I'm not letting my neighbors destroy this whole thing. So I mean, it's we appreciate. Thank you again, Beer and Co. for the supplying of the beers and Barrier for the actual beers. Excuse me. But it is nice that Brian has this little distribution beer distributor that he goes to get all these beers for us and everything like that. So we will, this was. I'm glad that we're doing this because this whole concept of the local breweries and everything like that, because it kind of we'll tackle Long Island, then maybe we'll tackle we'll move on and
well, technically one of the ones we did was not Long Island. We did Treehouse.
Yes, we did Treehouse, which is Boston.
Yeah. Now it's like a world-renowned beer,
right?
But we can definitely explore off of Long Island because there's a million microbrewers around the country.
Absolutely. And I'm like, you know what? It's funny. I also want to get I'm sure we'll find the Joe Schmo who's like, I'm brewing my own beer and stuff like that. And we'll get that going too. And
somebody who's like an upstart that hasn't, similar to Lunchbox, but even pre-lunchbox.
Yeah, like they're still doing it out of their house type of thing,
Yeah. I would love that.
That'd be awesome. Because that was how Nick talked about it at South Shore Craft Brewery, how he was, he would make beers for his friends. Like that's what he was doing at first, and it was like, then it became, let's open up a brewery and everything like that. But at first he was just kind of making beers for his friends.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, he must have been doing it really well. If obviously his friends were like, dude, you got to start a business.
Okay. All right. So this is the German beer.
Oh, wait.
Right now. All right, so don't even... I know where you're going with it already. What was that?
I don't know.
A relaxed ass.
It's all these different ones. This one's called laying pipe. I'm like,
laying pipe.
All right.
What is
let me go back to the regular one.
I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna.
Go ahead.
I didn't know. I thought you were gonna bring out the Hefeweizen.
Oh, from Eurotrip?
Yes. Yeah. So this is. I don't even know. Oh God, it's another more button. Let's see how long this one is. Okay, so this is all right. This is the Hefeweizen. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Hefeweizen. Here we go with the accent. Say it in an accent.
Hefeweizen.
The original hazy boy of the craft beer world. Oh, that was an exciting thing. The original hazy boy of the craft beer world. This cloudy straw amber liquid broke all the rules when it came into existence way back when. In fact, according to the German purity laws, this beer was against the rules. It says Who doesn't love an old-fashioned outlaw? Bursting with notes of bubblegum. Bubblegum?
That came out of nowhere.
Banana and clove. This barrier take on an old world classic.
Starting to like
will
grip your nose a little bit.
Hit you with all the vibes of fall.
That's the whole one?
That's it. You know what's funny is that it didn't really give you a description of what's going on in the beer.
Nah, there's none of the magnesium or whatever the hell, none of that stuff.
Yeah, prophylactics or anything like that.
Nope, none of that.
So this is a where do we? Hold on a second. Let me back up a tiny.
I kept thinking of like Jonah Hill on the plane.
Yeah, this. Okay, so this is a 5.3% ABV. ABV. Oh my gosh. One for the road.
Okay, one for the road. We're almost done. Yep. Okay.
You guys said 7:55, Brian.
I said I'd grab the beer at 7:55.
Oh my gosh.
We're just gonna take a sip and then we're done. When you were reading that, I was thinking of like that Hill scene in Wolf of Wall Street when Jonah Hill's on the plane.
Oh yeah.
Hilfa.
Oh man, this is a terrible pour. So I mean, I didn't really get anywhere near the head.
Oh yeah, this is very weedy. You can tell.
Oh, it's a wheat beer, huh? Mm-hmm. The Hefeweizen. It's Hefeweizen.
All right, we should take a couple of sips.
Oh, here, get the can.
Oh, the can. Yeah, very Hefeweizen.
It's very, very Hefeweizen. The German series. It says it on the back. The Germans. It says the German series.
It's like that character in what the hell is that movie with Christoph Waltz? It's one of those like Tarantino movies. Where like he's like the German army and he's like oh shit. Son of a bitch. It's one of those it's a Tarantino movie. Christoph Waltz plays like a German army guy and it's like the Nazi story or whatever.
All I can think of is when I'm thinking of this type of thing is the Producers.
No.
And Will Ferrell's version was it Springtime for Hitler
oh, no.
and Germany?
Little different.
All right. Here we go with our last beer of the show.
Cheers.
Cheers. Barry Hefeweizen.
Hefeweizen. It's good though. It's actually honestly for a wheat beer, I always go back to Allagash, which is sort of
actually,
like my.
No, it doesn't even. Oh wow, that's got some very good aftertaste. Like very, it kind of tastes fruity. The aftertaste a little bit.
In a good way.
But I mean,
I feel like the apple or something.
I feel like wheat beer is usually like very, very hazy.
Yeah, this isn't hazy at all.
No,
this is like light and. Yeah, it's light. I don't know, but there is like a fruity aftertaste to it. Maybe some magnesium or something.
Yeah,
or some prophylactics.
Well, anyway, I guess so. We're gonna wrap it up because we're running into the 3-hour mark, and
apparently our Uber is waiting for us.
Well,
upstairs.
it's not. It can't be waiting for us. We have to call it.
All right. Well, I don't know. I think she's gonna call it and leave us here if we don't wrap it up soon.
Yeah.
So
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
So let's just give a little shout out and plug again to Chris's band.
Yep. Cover City Soundtrack.
Cover City Soundtrack. They're playing tonight at. They're going to be starting very soon, actually, at Barrier Brewing Company. Thank you again, Barrier Brewing Company, for supplying the beers. Well, for brewing the beers, and Brewing Company for Brewing Co. New York for supplying the beers. They were all delicious. Again, I'm enjoying doing this. I'm really enjoying trying out all these different beers from all these different.
If you're a beer guy,
companies.
you're enjoying this experience because you're getting to taste different beers and learning what you like and what there's nothing we haven't liked. It's just what's our favorite is really what it comes down to. But all good stuff.
So hopefully, we should be back with another episode in a couple of weeks.
Definitely within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Because the 4th of July that's a rough one to do. As fun as that would be, we're not big enough yet.
Yeah.
If we were on high demand to do this, then maybe, but we're not there yet.
We're getting there. Eventually, somebody will ask us to do a 4th of July.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But for now, so we're looking at hopefully the 12th. Hopefully, we'll be somewhere on that weekend. We'll get ourselves going again. And yeah,
this is fun.
This is good. I always enjoy doing this with you, Bri, and
I love it. It's an excuse to get together with my friend of 25 plus years or whatever the hell it's been.
Holy Moses!
So we're having fun doing it.
Think of it as that long.
I was saying the bridge the other day. I feel blessed that I have the friends that I have for as long as I've had them.
I know
that's rare. It really is. So
it is, and it's nice that it's one of those. We talk about technology and how it can be a curse and a blessing at the same time. This is one of those moments where it's a blessing because we're able to keep in communication with each other constantly, almost every day, in just those little things. Because it's back in the day, it's when you didn't have texting and stuff like that. If you wouldn't call somebody up for a sentence. It's you needed to speak to somebody if you were going to give them a call or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's you could just shoot them a text, and it's just one little thing, and
some stupid Instagram thing or whatever it is. But it keeps us in touch, and it's rare that we all go a full day without saying something to each other.
Yeah.
Rare, really, which is a testament because it shows we all care. We just want to keep it going.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff.
Definitely.
So yeah, thanks, Brian. Thanks. Brewing Co. and Barrier. I'm sorry, Beer and Co. Oh my good lord, Beer and Co. and Barrier for everything, all the beer and everything like that. And Brian, thank you again for indulging and coming over while I'm an invalid.
No, you're not an invalid. You're one of the best invalids I know. Cheers, brother. We're heading down to Barrier tonight. Stop down if you're watching us right now. It's going to be a fun show, and if you watch this and you are down there, come over and introduce yourself. I'll be the guy in the loud shirt. So
yes. Oh, man. Thanks, everybody. Hope you all have a good one. Cheers.
Have a good night.